What's going on? Welcome to Lapeef Sports. Let me introduce the crew. We got Avon. We got Hink. We got Sway in the morning. Jay. Me, myself, I'm Lapeef JR. Welcome to Lapeef Sports on the Lapeef Network. What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
What's good? What's good?
What's happening? What's good this morning, baby? Happy 2022, everybody.
It is 2022. Almost
Happy New Year.
Good morning, everybody. Hope two of the people got over that hangover from yesterday.
Not I.
I definitely went hungover, but I know a lot of people were.
You know what? This was like the most chill New Year's Eve that I've had in probably in a long time, man. You know, I wasn't out there in the streets. I was working. I had to get rested, man. I had a lot of work to do the next day. I just felt good, man. I think it was a moment of reflection for me. How about you, gentlemen? You guys do anything special?
Nah, man. I just like I was saying, I chill at the crib, man, and watch college football all day, man.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I was live streaming, man. I live streamed into the new year, so I think that's kind of how I want this year to go, man. Start with work, you know what I mean? Went into the new year working, so hopefully I keep that up.
Yeah,
Get that money, big brother.
I worked too. I mean, I chilled my girl in the morning, and then I had work from like 4 to 10, and then she came back over. Then I went over to my brother's crib, and we just chilled. His girl and I was chilling with my girl. We just sparked up and was just talking. I haven't talked to my brother in a couple months, so.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. I'm waiting on Avon to come back in. I'm gonna get a drop back out to fix the cam issue. So we just gonna have a little small guy talk real quick before we get the show started, man. You guys have any New Year's resolutions? I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, so to speak. I just like to make it happen. I think I was talking to somebody and they said, I'm gonna start a new year. And I said, why? I said, start now. Start now. You know, start the next minute. Not even an hour. Not next year. Start now. I just feel like it's just it's good to have that like reference on when you're gonna start something. But if you're serious about something, start now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've started all my resolutions last year. You know what I mean? Like you said, anything that I really wanted to do, I just do it whenever I say that. Like, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna wait until the new year. I mean, I started that, October or September or June. Like, through the whole year, I'm making changes and reflections and things I need to, self-improve on. It's not just I'm gonna wait until the end of the year to try to switch up. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people go to the gym and there'll be a big boom of people at the gym, but then 2-3 months in, it's probably half the people was, or it's back to normal. You know what I mean? So you ain't really gonna make a change just by saying it's a new year, new me type of thing. Is what I believe. So I don't do that, honestly.
Yeah, usually about April is when the new members fall off.
Avon, testing mic check. Can you hear me, Avon?
I can hear you. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Is your camera on your laptop or what is it on?
It is.
So I think when you opened it up, if you were like too dormant too fast, it might have turned itself off. Like sometimes I did that to mine, so I had to reset my whole, like turn off my computer.
All right, give me a second, folks.
Or you might be able to go to cam mic setting right there in the StreamYards and might be able to play with that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, just go ahead and try to do like a reset real quick, man, and we'll hold it down until you get back.
But yeah, I'm one of those people that's guilty of that waiting to the new year, or I'm gonna start it Monday. You know what I mean? I'm one of those that's guilty as charged. I didn't do anything. I said I'm gonna just do it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and wait for the new year to do it. I'm gonna try something different because the Mondays and New Year's ain't working for me.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely hear you about that one, man. I mean, it just makes sense, man. I hate for us to wait so long and then something else comes up and then it's another excuse, another reason as to why we can't get to whatever it is that we set for next year. Start now, try to get that momentum. To me, having a momentum before New Year's is better than just waiting because you're already ahead of the game. You've already started whatever goal or accomplishment you set forth. It's already put into motion. Yeah,
for sure, man. For sure.
I don't, like I said, it's kind of counterproductive to wait. You know what I mean? You're not really getting anything done, and then when you do, you've already waited so long. Shoot, a lot of people might wait even more. It's like, all right, I'm gonna wait until February, or there's too much going on right now. They just keep coming up with a new excuse, and you're gonna keep setting yourself back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you do that, you keep putting yourself off, like it'll never get done. I promise you, it'll never get done. You keep procrastinating, pushing it to the back, pushing it to the back burner. Oh, I can start tomorrow. Them tomorrows never come. They never come. So, like you said, Jay, ain't no need of putting it off.
Absolutely.
Go and get it done right now. Get it done today. You got time.
Yep, that's good words. Well, let's get this show started. But before we do, we got to get the housekeeping in order as usual. Shout out to the sponsor of the show, which is Tej Hanley. Tej Hanley, Uncomplicated Skincare for Men. I do have that link posted at the top of the chat, so make sure you guys click that link. Get your skin. This is like the first time I've really seen like skincare for men. It's not really a focus, but before we go on these vacations, before the summertime hit, let's get the skin trained in order before the sweat start coming all in the pores and stuff like that. Let's get it trained to reduce the oil. Let's exfoliate our skin. Man, we got to take care of our skin. Got to take care of our skin. And also take care of our teeth. I know I keep bringing that up, man. Make sure y'all floss and making sure y'all taking care of them teeth, man, because bad breath ain't happening either, man. This is going to be the year for you guys like to set the New Year's resolution. This is going to be the year where we actually make sure when we wake up, we together. When we walk out, we together. Our clothes are ironed, smelling good. Our teeth are clean, breath smelling good. Our skin, man, we got to glow. Let's just focus on self-care, making sure we mentally right in the head, making sure that we able to navigate through. We already had so many setbacks as far as when we trying to accomplish things. So let's just make sure we're ahead of every aspect of our life. So shout out to Tej Hanley, the sponsor of the show. If you guys are just tuning in, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also subscribe to the channel. We definitely appreciate all the support. Everybody that came in early, this is going to be a great show. I look forward to it. That's right, Sherelle. Brush your teeth, she said. You know it. Yeah,
I know, man. That's right.
Man, it's our time, man. We got to come out, man. We can't be over here looking all bummy and out here goofy. We're going to talk about it, man, because there's a lot of things going on.
Hey, Jay, I ain't nothing sexy about that shit anymore.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And I think, with this pandemic that's going on, I think people have got like a front row seat to see how bad their breath is, man, because it's just blowing up your nose the whole time. So you like, man, is this what people was smelling when I'm having conversations? Like, yeah, bro.
The craziest thing about brushing teeth, a lot of people brush their teeth mainly in the mornings, but the most important time is right before you go to sleep.
Yeah,
you got all that bacteria in your tongue from all that. You got to brush all that away. That's where the stink come from. Is the bacteria in your tongue, not necessarily in your gums, not necessarily your teeth being yellow.
Right.
So brush your tongue and your gums, man.
I take it further than that, man. I keep a toothpaste and a toothbrush at my desk at work. So after lunch, I'm hitting it one time. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
And it don't even got to be as invasive. Just a little scrub down in 1 minute. Spit out. Just get the food off your teeth.
Yeah, you got to, man. That floss is something serious, man. And if you actually look at your gums, if you don't floss for a long time or for a while, you're gonna got to get a deep cleaning. But another indication that your gums might possibly have an infection or they're inflamed is when they're kind of puffy. Think about them puffy down coats that you see. The gums get like that all at the bottom, man. That means that you haven't been flossing, you haven't been taking care of your teeth. Like, to me, it's an embarrassment when I go sit there to get my teeth cleaned, then it just automatically just start bleeding.
Right.
Like, you don't want to do that. They looking at you, and who cares what they say, right? Because you're there getting the cleaning. But just imagine what they're going through. Like, this dude's mouth is jacked. Breath, I can smell the breath right through the mask because they wear masks anyway. Prior to everything that's happening now.
Oh, shit.
You just got to, and you got to brush that tongue. I'm talking about all around your tongue. You want to just make sure you scrub it. You scrub and you floss, and you have to floss all the way in the back. And you can even sometimes smell like the food as it's coming out of your teeth. So just imagine if you just sitting there the entire day. Like, I got homeboys, I got family members. I hate to say it. I got family members, and me and my other cousin and talk like, man, such and such breath be foul. Like, you smell it. It be trying to have conversations when you're talking about your feel. I'm like, damn, this dude breath is like, but it's like, how do you approach somebody? Same thing with smell. I know women that naturally have these odors that they body carry. And as we get older, sometimes our body change, our hormones changes. And men, you might have to sit in the tub for maybe once a week or whatever, just to reduce the odor, because as our body change and our hormones change, different odors come out. You know, whether it's coming out pissing or coming out the other way.
Right.
It changed. So you got to make sure you stay on top of it, just period, man. Hygiene is so important, and nobody want to be around somebody when they just they out there like that foul. Yep. All right, so let's get this show started, man. I first want to start off back congratulating the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls gonna kick it off right there. The Chicago Bulls are the new #1 seed in the East. Let's take a look at this right quick. Chicago is 24-10, Brooklyn is 23-11, Milwaukee is 25-13, and Miami is 23-13. So the Chicago Bulls are leading the pack. And why, you may ask? A lot has to do with DeMar DeRozan. I know we have time talked about him and saying you can't win anything without him, but I disagree. I disagree right now, man. I'm gonna go ahead and ride this wave. I don't know how far we're gonna go, but I'm gonna appreciate and I'm gonna celebrate this moment, because I was screaming, "He did it again! He did it again! He did it again!" The first time I was watching the game, I was in a restaurant. I was just like, "Yeah!" I mean, this is this is incredible, man. I don't even know. Let's talk about it. Let me get the highlights of this game. Zach LaVine had 35 points. He definitely killed. He was 11 for 22. DeRozan had 28. He's a little bit off today, but he's not too far off from from Zach. But he showed up when it counted. And the supporting cast, I'm so proud of Vooch, man. Vooch been stepping up. He had 22 points. Kobe White, I know we had discussions about whether he should be on the team or not, man, but he's definitely been proving his case, especially in the absence of Zoe. And I think everybody just been stepping up, whether it's been defense, the small things, the hustle plays, man. Just collectively, they've been coming. I've been disappointed with them allowing teams to come back. So even though we celebrate this win, it's just like once you got them down a little bit, can you maintain it? I definitely want to talk about the first game first when they played. I forget the team they played, but
I think it was the Wizards. What?
Yeah,
was it the Wizards?
Yeah, it was the Wizards.
No, the first team. Yeah, the first team was
not Detroit.
No, I went Detroit. Damn, I'm supposed to have this on cue, man. So y'all got me out here foul, man. Let me figure out who the team was. Let me check the chat because I'm pretty sure somebody else gonna tell us who it was.
Yeah,
my bad, y'all.
No, it's all good.
Pacers.
Yeah, okay.
The Pacers. The Pacers. Let's talk about that game, because when I was on Instagram and I seen how the Chicago Bulls, like, they photoshopped Zach closer during that celebration moment. When I saw the game, I saw Zach like this. I seen him. He wanted that ball. He really wanted to get that ball. DeRozan said, "Nah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take this shot." I don't know what the gameplay was, but I mean, he made it. And Zach hesitated for a second before I don't know if he was just in shock. I don't know if it was a bad choice of a shot, and he was looking like, what is he doing? But when it went in, there was a delayed response from Zach. So I was kind of surprised. I get it, the Bulls have to put everybody together, but clearly when you looked at that picture that was on Instagram, Zach was photoshopped to be closer. It seemed like Zach, I don't know. Zach wants to be that man. And DeRozan seems like he's filling into that position and becoming the face of the organization, like right before Zach asked. Let's talk about that. What do you guys think?
Hey, man, I look at it like this. I know LaVine wants to be that man, but hey, be the man in the postseason, because we know as well DeMar DeRozan is not going to show up for us. I mean, I appreciate what he's doing now. I appreciate the regular season hype and what he's giving us. But I know once that clock turns to the postseason, he's going to disappear on us, and that's what I'm afraid of. Get my emotions so hyped for him. So, man, yes, go. And then that dude gonna come in the postseason and just let me down, like he's let other teams down. You know, I know Anton said what he said, but there's some truth to what he said about DeMar DeRozan. But hey, I'm happy for him now. So I'm gonna let him live in this moment. I don't want to spoil the man's the hope and the dreams. But I appreciate the shot. Levine, you just get ready. Be on standby.
Yep. Don't lose that hunger. You know, he was sitting there, like you said, clapping his hands, waiting for the shot. Like, yo, pass me the ball. Keep that hunger, because, you know, your time is going to be there. Those were just his opportunities. And, you know, he dropped some tough shots to win the game nonetheless. You know what I mean? So as long as Zach stay hungry, they'll be good, man. I don't see no dissension. I seen people online trying to make it like, oh, you know, he ain't really celebrate. You know, he waited and did. Nah, you know, it was a bad shot. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those J.R. Smith shots where you like, no, yeah, we got it. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those where, you know, you catch a heart attack. So, but he got lucky.
Man, he did the heavy lifting in that game. If you look at the stats, man, the man had 35 points. He had led all scores. Like, there's always going to be people on the internet that's just going to try to create it. This happens in team sports, man. Sometimes a guy gets hot, and sometimes you got to like step aside and just let him do his thing, man. And this is the process, team. This is the process a lot of that LeBron-led teams don't go through to get to where they are, where they have sustained success, you know, where it's like, okay, well, I got to learn how to trust this guy. I got to learn how to give this guy the ball more. You know, you have to learn to feel your way. And this is how good teams are built. It takes time. It's a process or whatever. People have to find their lane, their roles, their comfort levels. And it's a little blip on the road. But I mean, I don't think he left the stadium that night thinking like, man, he really passed me up for that shot. Home was like, yeah, we won. I just, in the moment when you play sports, like anybody that's ever played sports in the moment knows that in the course of the game, from first tip to end of the game, you can wind up loving, hating your teammates somewhere in between that 60 minutes. At the end of the game, you looking at them crazy, like, why would you do that? And then an hour later, y'all laughing about something else, man. That's team sports, man.
Yeah. You know, if he passed Zach the ball, does Zach make that shot, you think? And this is the first game when they played against the Pacers.
Zach was 0 for 3 at that point. Lamar was 0 for 2. So, I mean, to say either one of them would hit the shot. But my thing is, I feel like, am I the only one that likes DeMar? Like, people saying, oh, he's not clutch, oh, he's not this, he's not. Why couldn't he just got beaten by the better team? Like, he went up against LeBron for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, what do you expect him to do against that? And it's, you know, LeBron was still kind of prime-ish LeBron. So on the Cavs with Kyrie Love, like, what do you expect him to do against that? And then he went to the Spurs. The Spurs isn't like the best team. I mean, other than him, they didn't have another all-star, superstar type player. So I just don't know where he's getting all this harsh criticism from. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just confused. I mean, am I missing something?
Yeah, you're missing all his years in Toronto.
Yeah,
what happened with his Toronto? He would take them to a number one team seed, and then he will go as far as gets to LeBron with his stack team, and he will lose. What do you expect him to do? I'm just confused.
Yeah, like this LeBron, Kyrie, or LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Bosh is like it was just him in what was it?
Kyle Lowry.
What's his name?
Lowry, that was it.
What did you think they were gonna do? Like, it's just one of those things where he was a really good player on average or an above average teams that just ran into elite teams. That's all that it was.
All right. How many years was DeRozan in Toronto?
Yo, it don't matter. He's going. How many years is any of these players in the East was on their team when they went against LeBron? They was losing. They took an L.
He went against LeBron 2, maybe 3 years. Maybe 3 years. Every other time he got bumped by somebody else. LeBron was like 2 or 3 years because they, you know, Toronto had the best record in the East at that time. And they mess around and caught LeBron in the second round. And of course, he knocked them off. You know, it's going to happen. But that was like 2 years. The other 7 years, or no excuse, yo. Joe Johnson knocked them out the playoffs.
What's going on, Cal? I don't know if did you hear any of the conversation prior to?
No, I missed it. Okay.
So
good morning and happy New Year to you guys.
Yeah, happy New Year. We just starting to show off and
Happy
we're
New Year,
talking
bro.
about DeMar DeRozan being unreal. We on the first game where he took that shot. What was said was, in my opinion, Zach was a little bit salty that he wasn't able to take that shot. You know, I seen him clapping his hands like this. He really wanted the ball. And once the ball went in, there was a delayed reaction with Zach. It was kind of like he threw up like this, but it wasn't like the bench and everybody that was currently on the floor. They ran to celebrate with their teammate. And the boys on their Instagram, you can see where it's Photoshop where they put Zach in that celebration moment with the team. When in fact, if you go back and look at the video, you can clearly see that Zach wasn't a part of that. So we're just talking about that. Fast forward, we was asking if DeMar was to pass that shot, does Zach make it? And I think that Sway in the morning said that in that quarter, one was 0 for 2 and one was 0 for 3. Am I correct, Sway?
Yeah, at the time, DeMar was 0 for 2, and at the time, Zach was 0 for 3. But DeMar obviously ended the game with 1 for 3, and Zach 0 for 3. So.
Okay. So we're currently on that one, and then we're going to discuss last night game. So what are your thoughts?
As far as Zach wanting the ball, I could see that, especially in that first game. It looked like DeMar was like he had lost track of time or something like that. He was kind of, messing around with the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, I could totally see Zach wanting the ball. He kind of threw it up. It looked real fluky right in that moment, to be honest with you. So the fact that it went in was like why everybody celebrated. But up to that very moment, I mean, yeah, if I'm Zach LaVine, I want the ball in that moment, especially since it looked like DeMar DeRozan didn't really have a plan in his mind dribbling the ball. So I could see that. As far as them there being some kind of issue, I don't really think there's any kind of issue. I mean, just in that moment, Zach won the ball. He didn't get it. Zach is still maybe considered the leader of the team. He's been there the longest. So, between him, Vooch, and DeMar DeRozan at least. And so, he probably wants to step up and kind of show that he's that guy in that moment. But I don't think there's anything to it beyond that. I think that their chemistry on the court has been evident. I don't necessarily think that there's going to be any kind of issue that comes out of it necessarily. Even with the shot last night, I don't think that there was any.
Hold on. Don't start talking about the shot last night. We ain't got there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but pay attention to that ego emotion that's going around in the NBA, because as we tackle some of these other topics, it's going to play a key role. But just think about that. And I think you made a great point, because I was thinking about that as well. It looked like he lost track. But the one thing that I can appreciate with him is every time he shoots the ball, it's always, his feet wasn't set, but the flick of the wrist was still on. It was still on. It was almost like every time he shoots to hit, he shoots with confidence.
Yeah, I think I think he had a bad rap just because he didn't have a good time in San Antonio. And so it's kind of like the last time we saw him, he really wasn't that guy. And of course, the national media get going about him. And, the way he looks is always something that people could bring up to mock him. So I think that he just kind of had a tough 2-3 years. I think his father passed away, so he kind of had to deal with that as well in the past, I think 2 years, either 1 or 2 years ago. So, we can't overlook that kind of stuff. So, I think that DeMar DeRozan is actually a really great player, and he fits what the Bulls need really well too. So, I think that the sky's the limits for them. And I think that particular moment in that game isn't something that we should carry on with us.
I want to ask you guys before we get in. I'm sorry, go ahead. Who was that one to talk?
Sorry, I was going to say, honestly, people said that shot was kind of like, like we don't know. It was kind of crazy. But I feel like that's just one of the shots they do in the gym. You know what I mean? I feel like they do that shot like 40 times over just because like they train to want to do some new weird drill. They 40 times, just one leg, probably went to the other and just kept doing it. And he's, you know what? I know this spot. This is the spot that I practice at. I'm going to take him there and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to shoot it like I do in practice and I'm going to just see if it hits. And I think he, practice paid off.
And that's the kind of season that the Bulls are just having right now. So, I mean, it's all kind of coming together for him. It didn't look like a fluke in terms of his body. So I agree with you on their Sway. I'm sure he's done maybe at 17 footers and not, 25 footers, but
maybe he might
practice that motion a lot. So, you rely on a little bit of muscle memory, you rely on some strength, a little bit of luck. And that's how it falls for you.
I honestly think that brought the team closer together. Like Curry back in the day when he kept throwing up them wild shots, like as long as you hit it and then you chill, after the game, I feel like Zach and them were actually molded together. It's like, all right, I know he's going to take some bad shots, but he also knows I'm going to be weird, crazy with my shots too. So it's like they have this continuity where they have a lot of confidence in each other. And I think them shooting these type of shots and also hitting them would just have more confidence going in, down the stretch. But they got to hit them. That's the biggest thing.
I want to ask you guys this. Like, do you feel as though like that shot was one of those confident shots like Steph Curry? Or do you feel like it was more on the luck side?
I think it was luck, personally. I think he looked up, oh, snap, is 1 second, and he just so happened to have that muscle memory, not be far, and just kind of threw it up. And it went in. It's not a fluky shot. Vucevic shoot that, I might be like, oh, it's 100% luck. But we got to give him some skill. But, it just looked like he lost track of time, threw it up as a prayer versus that's how he had it planned the whole time.
I truly don't think that's it, because you see it when he goes up. I promise you, they do these weird drills. There'll be a little white guy with a stick, and he will just go up with a stick to his offhand, and that's the defender's hand, and he'll go up and just do that. Like they do that all the time. I think like the Kobe shot back in the playoffs, I think it was against the Suns. He was like running and then faded like at the top of the key. That's a luck shot. Him setting himself up with the dribble and then pulling up into it, that's not luck. He does that all the time.
Yeah, we work on that. Luck. Like when I was coaching, we worked on that. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen. It's a tool that Kyle was just talking about. It's actually like a little dummy that you can get now that has the hands up like this. You could put it right at the 3-point line, because now, like I said, the way the game is played now, you have to push shooters off the 3-point line. So now you have to train your guys, like especially coming off screens at 36, 37 feet, to be able to catch and shoot 2-3 feet beyond the 3-point line. So guys are way more comfortable at that distance and in that moment than they were, I think, 10, 20 years ago. Like that moment, that type of shot used to be reserved for the elite of the elite. Now everybody is practicing that shot now, man. Like it's in people's package now. It's in a lot of people's game now.
I was thinking, like, was that coming out of a timeout? I can't remember right off the top.
Yeah, that was a horrible play coming out of a timeout.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that's why they drew it up. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm thinking. Like, it just kind of was like a broken play, and he threw it up. And if it went in because of his skill, I'll give you that. But that can't be what they thought coming out the timeout.
And he's a tough shot maker. You know what I mean? Like, he makes tough shots. Those mid-range fadeaways, 2 people in his face, like that's the type of. So I definitely agree with Sway. It was muscle memory. I mean, I don't think it's luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, realistically. Now, Kawhi Leonard against Philly when he eliminated, that was luck. Like, he did all he could do, and then luck took over. You know what I mean? It just bounced around, and then you watch Embiid just die. That was luck, yeah.
Okay. I do want to highlight this, and this is one of the reasons why I respect him, is because I know he puts in the work. This right here is a professional basketball trainer, goes by Dribble Too Much, and he works with Chris Paul and along with some other people that's in the NBA. But DeRozan is putting in the work. He's putting in the work each year. So I anticipated him being better, because he can, not only is he practicing with the team, but he's seeking out personal training. Like so a lot of the moves that you see him do is because he's been training with this guy right here, man. This is an awesome guy. So you got to respect that. Okay, let's fast forward it to last night's game. Last night game, and Cal, before you came here, I was telling them I was watching the game. I'm like, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how I was seeing it. So I'm right up on the screen. I'm looking up at the screen. I'm sitting here like this. Okay, what we gonna do? I'm pissed off because they allowed him back in the game and they got a 1-point lead. In the timeout, of course, because he hit the game with it last night, the cameras were on him, and you see him. So you see it. It's like, man, he's you can see the confidence right there that he's ready. I had a feeling that the ball was coming to him. And after the game, when I was looking at the Chicago sports panel, they was discussing how that play to them appeared to be drawn up for DeRozan. It was drawn up for him. And I can probably believe it was because Zach seemed like he was a little bit more relaxed. I didn't see him asking for the ball. I didn't see that. What was so phenomenal about this is that he pump fake. He had 2 people on him. I'm like, damn. I'm looking at Kobe. I see Kobe open. Kobe's just kind of waiting to see what's going on. I don't think I quite saw anybody else open in that moment. And then when he pump fake and he rolls up, remind you, I talked about every time he shoots the ball, it looks like he's shooting with confidence. Despite them people being directly in his face, he still shot with confidence, the same rhythm, the same flick of the wrist. And when it went in, I said, he did it again. I yelled it about 10, 11 times. I couldn't believe my eyes what the hell was going on. A rush went through my body. This is incredible. This is incredible. Zach celebrated quicker. I'm not sure if he's seen it. I'm not sure if he recognized it. I'm not sure if that was a learning moment for him, because when you on a team, when you playing team basketball, sometimes you just got to be able to trust somebody else on your team to take that shot. So what are you guys' thoughts about the last night game?
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I mean, I definitely think that's the biggest thing. If you notice that, as far as trust, that's the biggest thing. If you don't trust the other superstar on your team, that's a huge problem. You know what I mean? So that's what you're seeing now. You're seeing them develop trust. Because one thing I said in the beginning of the season is I hope that they don't end up being the make it, take it type of all-stars. You know what I mean? Where it's your turn, my turn, your turn, while everybody else is standing around. You know what I mean? They seem to be developing a little trust. So.
Yeah, and this is their first year on the team together, so you know it does make a difference. Levine, Stanley, they still learning each other. I mean, and they're saying they're learning each other, learning still to trust each other. You know, it's just all a part of the chemistry. So with him doing it again, I promise you, Levine won't question it again. I promise you. Next time that opportunity come up, he won't question again. And I think somebody might have brought that to his attention. Hey, perception looks like you wasn't really happy for your teammate making that big shot. We can't have that. So let's get that shit together and move on. If it's something between y'all guys, hey, talk it out. Hey, work it out. Do what y'all got to do. Get past it. But we here to win.
Hey, I seen Green was on the sideline. Is he hurt? You guys know why he wasn't suited up?
Nah, I didn't see it. I can look it up though. My thing is this, man. I think sometimes in sports, especially, but it happens in other phases of life. I hope Zach isn't what I like to call over worried about the narrative. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you create a narrative in your head for a scenario. Like beginning of the season, he said, "Okay, we got DeMar DeRozan. Food's coming back. I'm about to be the man. DeMar DeRozan is going to be my Batman. Going to be the Robin's my Batman, and we're going to go out here." And in his mind, he might have thought he was going to be the ace, the number one guy going into that year when he's getting his max deal, finally make a deep playoff run. He might have created a narrative in his mind. And something is not played out like that. It's almost played out to something better. And I think this is where a lot of people have to, kind of be careful of, like I said, being a slave to a narrative you created in your head, as long as the end results are what you want it to be. And I really hope that he takes that mindset going into this, because there's going to be nights. I mean, I think it was at one point, I think it was not this game, but the last game, I think he only had like 16, 17 points, was like 4-10 from the field. Like, bro, you're not going to be able to drop 40 every night. There's going to be nights you just got to give us 16, 5, and 5 and guard somebody, and it's going to be okay as long as we get the W. And he seems like he's mature enough to understand that, but that's what I hope he's not doing. Is he's not, the narrative that he set up in his head for this scenario is not playing out the way he wanted, but he's getting something better, and I hope he doesn't fall into that trap.
Plus, I think that DeMar has proven it on the court. He's shown that he can be reliable in the fourth quarter. He's making these shots. I think he's putting up more threes this season than he has before. And I think he's, one of the best players maybe in the league in the fourth quarter right now. He's dropping like 8 to 10 points per game in the fourth quarter. So, I think that in addition to Zach having to be vulnerable enough to trust DeMar has also proven why he has earned that trust, not to just Zach, but to the whole team. And so, it may be easier decision for Zach to get to that point because DeMar has proved, a lot of people wrong. I'm sure them on the team, they probably had a narrative about DeMar DeRozan too, that, they weren't sure if it was going to work. We all said, I know I was saying that DeMar and Zach get their points the same way, so I don't see how that's going to work. And I know that that's kind of still developing, but we've definitely seen that DeMar DeRozan has kind of proved that he's earned some of those spots and some of those shots away from Zach. And then Zach also said that he was looking to have a guy come in and him not necessarily have to be, the only option. And so I think that that's happening better than what he thought it would too. So, I think it's really working out. And I think that DeMar has kind of earned that the respect he's getting right now.
Yeah. It's I'm looking forward to it. I want to ask you guys this. This is the last final question I'm going to ask about this. Do you think Zoe would have made a huge difference last night? Do you see that the chemistry that's currently on the court that you're seeing within the past few days, would this shot be able to be in position to happen? Hopefully I'm making sense. Like, you understand, like when Zoe comes back, granted, anytime somebody's out and the team gets a rhythm and the chemistry with the current people, even with Kobe. I mean, think about how much rhythm they have with Kobe. He's putting up points. He's doing pretty decent on defense. But when Alonzo comes back, do we still have that type of play? Would it even be a close game at all? What are you guys' prediction when it comes to Zoe coming back?
They would be better. Zoe isn't a hindrance to any offense, in my opinion. I mean, he's great defensively. He's 6'7". He can shoot the three better now. His decision making as a point guard is elite. I mean, he's up there, I think, with most, if you want to talk about point guards. So, no, I mean, if anything, he would have been sitting in the corner on the wing waiting for a shot too, or ready to play defense. He wouldn't have hindered that offense at all. He can't. I don't think he can. He's not a selfish player. He's never been a selfish player. His dad told him to play to win, and that's kind of how he sees it. So he would play to win regardless. If he gets a shot, Zach gets a shot, Vucevic gets a shot. He said, I'm just ready whenever you need me type of player. So, no. If anything, they would have probably not even gotten that close because his defense and his playmaking, the chemistry would have been a lot better. They probably would have been 10, 15 points up, or at least not to a single, a one-possession game. It would have been at least a 2-3 possession game.
Yeah, they've missed him defensively. They actually, if you think about it, they've been. I want to be excited as a Bulls fan because this is what good teams do. They survive bad games, but they played 2 bad games. There's no reason why the Wizards and the Pacers should have been this close. Now I understand they're missing people, but these weren't. There's one Brooklyn out there. You know what I'm saying? This one Brooklyn and Milwaukee out there, but they miss him defensively, man. That's where he's going. This is the frightening thing about the Bulls. They've gone on this run without Caruso. They've gone on this run without Lonzo, and at times they've gone out on this run without Boots and some other guys or whatever. So when this team finally pulls itself together and is completely healthy, they're gonna be they're already a problem. But now the other teams in the East have to sit up and say, "Damn, this is an Eastern Conference Finals contender. So we're going to have to deal with them. This is not a fluke. This is not some team getting off to a hot start. They're constructed properly. At least I would say they're 90% constructed properly. They need one more move. But yeah,
a big man. They're literally a big man away from like a solid, just
like defensive big man.
Yeah, defensive long, just the white JaVale. Like
just
when they had their feet under them, like defense. That's all they need, man.
Right. The guy that they've got backing up Boots, Tony Bradley, man, he's decent, but he can't catch the ball. You can't run any pick and roll for him because he can't catch the damn ball. They've been giving the boy Cook off the bench all the run because they can actually run pick and roll with him because he actually can do the roll of the pick and roll part. So
so like a Jared Allen.
Yeah. They had a guy last year, Tice, that was beautiful at it, but he decided he wanted to go get the bag with Houston. So
I want to ask you guys this today. Granted, we still got some time before we get to the end of the NBA season, but who's taking this MVP trophy home with them? Steph Curry or DeMar DeRozan?
I think if Steph keeps on with the season he's having, And because
I'm not talking about no, I'm not talking about the season going. I'm talking about now.
If just today, if you had to go with just today, I think they would give it to Steph. Just because Steph, it just has a more electrifying game. I think that DeMar DeRozan would be like league most improved or something like that, get like a honorable mention. But you can't discount what Steph does. The impact that he has on just the entire organization. Steph playing the way he's played has pretty much allowed them to keep Klay Thompson from having to come back. And so, I think that they've really relied on Steph more so than they have on any other player this particular year. And whereas on the Bulls, DeMar DeRozan has done a lot. And, I think his numbers are up in every category, but they still have Zach LaVine doing what he does. The Bulls as a team are really good. And DeMar is just kind of leading the charge on that versus the Warriors, who I think rely on Steph a lot more than, DeMar does with the Bulls.
Yeah, I just looked up the numbers, man. They scary close, actually. They only a point apart in assists. They only a point apart in points, rebounds. Like the numbers are almost damn near identical. But I guess at the end of the day, I think they'll mess that. It'll be a situation with name recognition. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna go with tried and true instead of, I don't know. It might break out in his favor because sometimes we do it might be a Derrick Rose MVP type situation where he's like, we should have given it to LeBron. We don't really like you right now. D Rose is hot, so we can't give it to him. So it might play out like that. But if I had to do it today, I'd still have to say Steph.
I mean, DeMar is playing his best season ever. I mean, but regardless of that, he still wouldn't win it because when you think about it, if you took Steph off that team, is that an above 500 team? Probably not. Not at the moment. You take DeMar off of the Bulls, I mean, I'm thinking they're still above 500. They're probably top 4. So when you're talking about the most valuable player, especially when you're talking about the team, to their team aspect, Steph is without a doubt. He just creates so much open space and offense and attention. At least 4 defenders on the other team are watching him. The center might not be watching him, but everybody else is wondering where he's at, where I got to pick up at. Like, they're not worried about the other players like Gary Payton
he's still
Pope or Wiggins or Draymond, whoever else they got on their team. They're not really worried about them. It's like, all right, but we just need to find Steph and track him, and he just brings so much attention, and that's why he's so valuable on that team.
Plus, Golden State's 28-7. They number 1 in the West right now, so. I mean, that alone is saying a whole lot.
The West,
yeah, that's the best conference to me collectively. I mean, collectively is the West. Let
me ask you a quick question, because I was watching something with Gilbert Arenas where he was talking about how he scored, I think, like 50 points on Kobe, and and they actually won. And the team was celebrating like, yeah, dog, we won. And he's like, we won, dog. I just got 50. You know what I mean? So what I'm wondering, how do you think, trying to figure out his psyche, do you think these players, would y'all say like LaVine or DeRozan, do you think any of those players actually still think like that and have that mindset where it's like, I'm getting my numbers, I'm making my benchmark so I can get my pay, my pay increases?
Absolutely. I mean, if they got bonuses and finances involved with some of their milestones, they're absolutely thinking about that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's different contracts with shoe contracts or whatever it is that says, hey, every time you get XYZ numbers, we'll give you XYZ reward. And so, I mean, Russell Westbrook is kind of going through that right now where they think that he's kind of just padding his stats just to be padding his stats, when in fact, there could be some kind of incentive there. So I think that because there's so much money in so many ways, it may not be so heavily prevalent in terms of that's the only thing that they're thinking about. But I think that they're definitely, it's still on their mind, win or lose. They want to be able to make their own milestones because some of the money is rooted in their contract. Making in other sports, making a Pro Bowl or making the playoffs, they think that their impact on the team is going to help them make playoffs. And if they make the playoffs, they get their bonuses. So I think that stuff is still for some of those, let's say the 6th, 7th, and 8th player, and those guys whose contracts aren't as high. I would imagine that they think about that kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah, you realize that it affects guys who could sign max contracts, it's all about their stats. If they're not hitting them stat marks, they're not getting them max contracts. Because who was it? It was a guy a couple years ago. He came up just short from getting that max contract. I forgot who the guy was. So just came up short getting it because he made second team instead of first team.
I know exactly what I'm trying to think who that was, but yep,
I
know
can't
exactly
remember.
what you're talking about.
I remember him missing out on a max contract just because he made second team and not first team. I mean, so I'm sure they always looking at it. Like you said, it's all about that money. So
the craziest thing is that the players all know their incentives too. Most of the time, it's like everyone knows what each kind of player needs to get their extra incentives, and sometimes it'll be a game where it's like, why is he passing him the ball a little bit more today? Why is he taking so many shots? It's like because they're trying to meet these markers at the end of the day, and if it's those games where we got time to help people out meet these markers, they're gonna do it. Even LeBron, whoever, they do it in football too. The quarterback might be targeting a certain receiver just so we can get a couple more yards in that game so we can meet his marker. It happens in most sports, and most of the teammates know everyone's incentives. They talk about it because it's money. Marker. It happens in most sports.
Yeah.
What's going on, Trail? I don't know if y'all still got the YouTube playing. And just so you know, like the box is smaller, so yeah. I got you on mute. Hold on. All right.
Oh, okay. Nah, I see it. I see it. Hold tight, hold tight. I'm gonna back out right quick and come back.
Well, all right. Yeah, but I don't know if I kind of agree with you guys because I can see it happening in the league. But I honestly think when it comes to like DeRozan and Zach LaVine, I think that they want to compete. I think they have a love for the sport. I truly do. I don't think they out there trying to make stats. I really think that they just want to dominate because I'm seeing a growth. I don't even know how old Rosen is. How old is he?
Let's say 36, 35, let's say.
Is he 35?
Yeah, let's say 35. I'm just going off the top of my head, man.
Just think about that. Think about this 35-year-old that seems to be stepping his game up, still putting the work in. It's almost like that Joe Johnson mentality right now. And it's just like, I didn't even know he was that. I wanted to think in the back of my head he was old, but not that old. I thought he might have been like 32.
32.
You're right, 32.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying 35. I'm like, damn, that dude's out here balling for 35.
But it feel like he's been in forever.
Yeah, right. But he's still getting the training. And that's the thing that I think when that time was on here last is that you just got one job to do. And that's just to come to the NBA. You paid all this good money. You do have these big contracts. You get to enjoy life. Why not get the training? Why not get the training to keep elevating your game? Like, why are you here just to collect a check when you can go out there and be better? Why are you just settling and having that same shot that you always have? And I'm telling you, if you guys get a chance, go to that guy's Instagram, Dribble Too Much, and you can see the moves that they worked on. And he utilizes. That's why he's real crafty out there and able to move around and spin around and do a move and catch somebody off guard and take two steps to the left or the right. And he's creating space for himself to be able to get his shot up. He don't have to be flashy and dunking and all that stuff like that. It's his shot. It's his mid game. His mid game is nasty out here. And you see the work that he was putting in. And I don't know if it's just because I'm a Bulls fan or what, but I'm like, damn, like you guys are so wrong what y'all been saying about DeRozan, especially Anton. It's like, come on, bro. Like you can't do nothing but respect the work that he's been putting in. So to answer you guys' question, I think that they have a love for the game. I don't think it's strictly about stats. I didn't see any records that was going to be broken. Those games, I think that they really wanted to win. I think it's going to come down to making the best decision in that moment. And what leaders do is whether like they just own up sometimes. Sometimes it's like, I'm going to take this shot and I'm going to give it my best. Zach, I would have said it was more luck. I think some of Zach's shots are luck. I think sometimes because he had some turnovers, like right. If you look at the game, he turned the ball over twice off these passes. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing? So I just think in that moment, he was a little off. I think DeMar DeRozan's a little bit more calm. It was almost like a silent assassin. He did it again. What do you guys
he's seasoned.
He definitely brings calm to the team. That was something that I wasn't really anticipating. I hadn't really seen a whole lot of DeMar DeRozan games. Even when he was in Toronto and San Antonio, I really hadn't seen him play too much. I just knew that he was one of these sleeper guys in the league that, you know, in his own little right, he would, you know, do his thing, but I never really knew his game. And he just brought so much calm to the team. Him and, you know, we can't discredit Billy Donovan's impact as the coach too. And so, you know, I think that it's been amazing to really see. And the growth, you know, just him kind of earn his little lane on the team. I think it's been great.
I think he had a very, in the Spurs, like, it wasn't the exact same, but it was Blake Griffin-esque, where he just didn't, like, nothing really motivating him to try any harder than what he was getting, because he didn't see them actually winning anything. You know what I mean? Blake Griffin got hurt, so he was a little bit different. But DeMar, I think his game only elevated as high as the team was, you know, projected to go. And I didn't think he thought they projected to go anywhere higher than the first round. So he was like, I'm going to play, but I'm going to keep self-improving and basically work my way out of here, and then I'm going to turn up again. But I think he was mostly just trying to avoid injuries while he was with the Spurs.
Maybe Karl Anthony Towns is going through that right now in Minnesota.
Well, you know, another thing is they get a little long in the tooth, man. You got to improve your game. You got to improve different things, aspect of your game too. Because when you get older, you can't do some of the things you used to do on the shot. You can't go to the hole like you used to when you was a little younger. So when you have to develop that jump shot and that mid range that's a money shot for any. I don't care how young a player, how old a player. That mid range is a money shot because they're not guarding the mid range.
Absolutely.
They guarding the three, or they worry about you getting that dunk.
Hey,
they not guarding that mid range, that free throw line.
Hey, I'm not gonna even lie. If you go to LA Fitness, you playing these basketball and everybody want to hit the three. They either going in for the dunk,
right?
They out on that three. And I'm guilty of that myself, man. I mean, I can hit a three before I can hit that mid range. You measuring, you like, damn, like it's right there. And that motherfucker just go hit the thing like shit.
But you had to back up 3 feet and hit that three though.
Yeah,
it looked good.
Yeah.
Bro,
you got to do a bank shot.
That's more. I be eating these young boys alive with the mid-range, man. Because they, number one, they don't want to play defense in the first place. And number two, like I said, they game is so limited. Either I'm driving or I'm shooting the three, and they have no defensive fundamentals. You want to give me anything from 9 to 16 feet? You'll give it to me without a hand up? I'll take it all day, bro. Keep running it. I'll stay on the court for 3-4 games out here. Find you another 5. I'll still be out here.
Right.
That's why you noted.
Hold on, Jay. I want to kind of get the crew season. Mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah. What's going on, brothers? Definitely appreciate you guys blessing the stage with your presence. We're talking about DeMar DeRozan is unreal. I know you guys, if you're basketball fans, I'm pretty sure you're aware of the news already. What are your thoughts on it real quick before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, man, I think, DeMar is probably one of the most underappreciated players ever, and it's because of that mid-range game. You know, people it's just not sexy. It's not. We just got to call a spade a spade. Steph done changed the outlook on the game from current where the NBA is played, and then the way that, that's what y'all saying at the rec. It's either 3-point or we going to the cup. It ain't no in between, you know what I'm saying? So that type of game is just not sexy. Shout out to Rip Hamilton. Shout out to, Joe Johnson had a decent mid-range too. But yeah, so I think it's dope, man. I think he's getting his flowers finally. And that is well deserved, and he's showing that there is another aspect as far as being successful to the game. You don't got to pull up from 40 every time or be able to jump, have a 50-inch vertical. So shout out to bro.
I want to just before we move on, just to shout out DeMar. He is quite literally playing his best season ever. He's averaging 26.8. The highest he did before was on the Raptors in 2016. It was only 27.3, but he's shooting 49.5% from the field. And he was only shooting, 46 then. He's shooting at 37.3 from the three. That's his highest ever. Like, this guy is balling. Like, he deserves it because he's actually balling. He was only averaging around 21, 22 with the Spurs the past couple of years. And so when you say he gives his flowers, it's definitely well-deserved, and the stats prove it. And I think, people have been sleeping on him. And he's showing them, you got to stop sleeping on me, or I'm going to keep putting in your face. So, all right. I never understood it.
I got you. Good. Hey, I want to get your perspective.
No, it's all good. Quick. It's all good. Yeah, I definitely think having him coming from the Spurs, I think that's what really took his game to the next level. That, and then him coming from Toronto. Toronto, is a small market. Not really too many people watch Toronto basketball and things like that. So I think him coming from that situation, then going to a great coach like Pop, where he can really transform his game and really focus on his strengths and just the basics and fundamentals, things like that. Then now you got paired with Zach LaVine, you got help around you. You don't have to do as much work. So I think that's the reason, why his numbers are up too.
Okay. All right, Kyle, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going just to echo what my man said. He's doing all this on a brand new team. You know what I mean? Brand new teammates around him with Zach LaVine on the team too, who's looking for the ball as well. So just to echo his stats, it's just really a testament to the work he's putting in, because in spite of all these things that he has going on around him too. Because if he was struggling, he could very easily just blame it on, well, I'm in a new team, I got a new coach, I'm in new teammates, we're still figuring it out. But instead, they're excelling as a team. Has an amazing impact on the team. So, I think it's definitely about time that he's gotten his flowers and respect and appreciation.
All right. There you have it, man. There you have it, man. The Bulls, they play tomorrow, right? It's tomorrow they play?
Yes, sir. They got the Magic.
The Magic, okay. I think the Magic doing pretty decent, right?
You got a good young team, man. They got good building blocks, man. They'll be good in 2 years. They will.
Okay. Well, nevertheless, if you guys just tuning in, welcome to Lapeef Sports on the Lapeef Network. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Memberships are open, so make sure you guys click that join button and become a member. We like to call it the Green Gang. So if you see those green circles, then you already know Green Gang is in the house, man. It's in the house. Shout out to our sponsor of the show, Teach Hanley. Make sure you guys go ahead and get some of that uncomplicated skincare for men. Get your skin right, man. Get your skin right as we are in a new year. Our next topic of the night, man, we're going to be talking about Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson, man. You seen I've had a little situation with a fan, so let me bring that up for you guys right now. NBA Jordan Clarkson goes after fan over malicious heckling, restrained by teammates. NBA star Jordan Clarkson was so pissed off of fans heckling on Monday, he attempted to go after the man in the stands, but fortunately, he was held back by his teammates. According to the journalist, as Clarkson was headed towards his bench during the timeout, a fan stood up and had words with the basketball player. A short time later, the reporter reported Clarkson took steps going after the fan. Thankfully, security stepped in before things got ugly. Ultimately, the fan was ejected from the arena. After the game, Clarkson told reporters the fan absolutely crossed the line with his trash talk, saying the dude's comments were straight up malicious. I think we had a little situation where Austin Rivers pointed somebody out, LeBron pointed somebody out. And mind you, I told you guys to pay attention to with the emotions and ego. We're going to be discussing and breaking that down throughout this broadcast. But fast forward to Jordan Clarkson, a lot of emotions, man, with these NBA players. Let's talk about it. Has the game changed? Are the players getting soft? Are the players within their rights to feel the way that they feel? Because it's always how they feel, right? And we discussed this in these spaces about I feel. Should they let it roll off and just keep playing? Is it a part of the game? I'm curious to get you guys' thoughts. And since crew season just came in, I want to start with you guys first. What are your thoughts?
I would say that the players definitely getting a bit more sensitive, because I can imagine what the trash talk from fans was like 60 years ago or 50 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Like they say disrespectful things or whatever, but I do feel like there are lines. A lot of these fans literally feel like because I'm paying all this money for my seat, I can say and do whatever I want to do. Right now, it's the difference between trash talking, you talking about somebody's game, or you a bum, you can't shoot, whatever the case may be, and then you talking about somebody's family, like what happened to LeBron. You talking about that you hope this man's son gets in a car wreck and dies. It's like, what? Who says something like that? Like, that's not a part of the game. That's not whatever. Now, if Braun goes in that stands and puts hands on him, Braun gets in trouble. And he not only gets in trouble from the league, he gets fined, but he gets sued by the fan. Now the fans are millionaires. So again, I think like NBA makes enough money to where they got to secure that a bit better. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, trash talking and heckling and all that is part of the game. But it's certain lines that just should not be crossed, bro. Like throwing stuff, and I'm seeing, cups getting thrown and ice being thrown, and just like, fam, like just because you paid $500 for that ticket don't mean that you can treat me like I'm less than human. And I think that fans are getting more bold while players are getting more sensitive, and it's contributing to what we're seeing.
Yeah, I definitely feel it's a big entitlement, especially when you're paying money to go see a game, you're paying for entertainment, and especially if it's somebody that is on the opposing team. I mean, naturally, you're going to try to get under their skin, say whatever it is you feel that you want to say, just try to get under their skin. And I feel that they do go overboard oftentimes. And because they're multimillionaires, playing on the court, making all this money, they feel that they can just say whatever and it's supposed to just roll off their back. And it's like, no, I'm a human too. So yeah, they definitely are. I feel like getting out of line. But I also believe that the fans do feel way too entitled and just doing the most for no reason.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off what they're saying, what Trill said, as far as back in the day, I think, definitely they were built different. They were tougher. The players had thicker skin. But also, you can imagine the things that they were saying to those players back then. And even the players could imagine what would be said going into games, night in, night out. I think today, with all of the extra access that you have to these players, whether it be social media, you see pictures of their family, you see their little daughter, their little son. So you have so much access that now you can touch things that maybe before people didn't know anything about. You know what I mean? Cass is out there like talking about your dog and your daughter, and so you out there playing ball and you hear something like, hold on, this dude talking about my daughter, all bets are off, yo.
But hold on real quick. But shouldn't the players adjust? Because I mean, think about it. As parents, we have to adjust as far as that we're not going to be able to, as hard as we try, certain information now we're not going to be able to deny our children. Because when they go into school and whether somebody else have phones and social media and stuff like that, we as parents have to adjust. And if you're not a parent, you're going to have to adjust. So now the conversation shifts from telling them no to teaching them how to be able to make the correct choices, because they're going to be exposed to it. So in relation to the NBA, should the players just be able to adjust, because it's not going nowhere. It's probably going to get worse in some instances. And just for the sake of the conversation, right? I don't really have a stance on it because it's situational, but sometimes when the players are having a bad game or things just not going right, they stop paying so much attention to the game, and now their ears are open. Because if you locked in, sometimes you're in the zone, people probably saying stuff throughout the entire game. But now it's like they're turning to it as a crutch. Like, hey, ref, you hear this? You hear this? Where's that same energy when it comes to your play? Where's the same energy when it comes to you? They, soon as they don't get, they looking for a call. They're on the opposite side of the floor. They sitting there whining. Fast break is going down here. And you still back here. And then you get a basket because you cherry pick. So I'm just, for the sake of the conversation, just want to kind of throw it in there. Should the players be adjusting? Well, now let's talk. Let's have this conversation.
Okay. Real quick, so, I think the NBA should be adjusting.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they're there to do a job. You know what I mean? Not worrying about anything else. So I think the NBA needs to adjust. Because, I mean, think of any job we're doing. Imagine somebody coming to your computer at your call center cubicle and yelling in your ear and throwing papers off your head and sodas. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, yo, boss, you got to get this dude away from my cubicle before you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. No, like real talk, I operate under personally and in life. Don't say nothing to somebody under those circumstances you wouldn't say to them on the street. If you can't say it to them on the corner, don't say it to them inside that stadium, because it would end up different when we was outside that stadium. So that's the first thing. Number two, I think the thing with the players now is that they have to kind of be more self-aware and more protected of themselves, because so much more of them is accessible now. You know what I mean? It's easy to find out through the internet who their mama is, who their sister is, who their baby mama is, where they might possibly live. You know what I mean? And there's some crazy people out here. So you can't discount somebody, saying something wild to you and be like, oh, he just some rando just yelling in the crowd. He might see you outside, or you might, they have so much access. But I think My problem with it is, and I ride with, because I've always had this problem with people, with sports fans, is that you wouldn't say 99.9% of the things that you say on the internet or hollering in the stadium or anything else, you wouldn't say it to their face. And it's always bothered me, man. And I think the league kind of does need, I wouldn't say they need to implement new rules, but I think maybe they need to have a conversation with season ticket holders and team owners and say, this is the type of environment we're dealing with. And eventually it's going to turn into another Malice at the Palace, and nobody needs that. This is a business concern. This is not just players being too sensitive. Jordan Clarkson got sense. I'm not sure if this person said this to J.R. Smith, you know what I'm saying, or some of the other characters that we've seen in the NBA that don't have this level of self-control. We've seen it go left before. The NBA needs to get on top of this before they have another situation, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because, man, if I was a player and my family couldn't be there at all, I wouldn't want my family there. I wouldn't want them, because unless they're in a box and away from the general public, I wouldn't want them there. Because, man, if somebody says something out of line, or if I see my significant other, my wife, or my kids getting into a disagreement with somebody, yeah, I'm gonna be in that stance, and it's not gonna be nice. I'm gonna be ready to get down. And whatever going on with the game, I'll get back at that game. My first priority is them, not y'all, my teammates. I love you guys, but they my first priority.
Okay, but
I can't have it.
But you guys got to understand that they're words, right? They're words, yeah. and we often talk about fumbling the bag. I mean, us being in the YouTube space, they're words. Mm-hmm. They're words. So you can't be putting yourself in position. Now, I do agree. If you guys want to talk outside of it and say, hey, we understand these things are going on, make sure security, kind of monitoring the fans and making sure they're not getting out of line. But under no circumstance should the players be involved. I mean, if it's not a direct hit, if it's not physical, like, they're just words, leave it up to the security. If you want to voice an opinion, just, drop a note inside the box, like up inside that suggestion box, and say, hey, can you guys just monitor the fans a little bit more? I'm hearing things, but to react, to stop what you're doing, to react, I don't know, man. I think the players got to toughen up a little bit.
But JR, you see your wife up there getting into an argument. Mm-hmm. That's not gonna go well with me. That's not. I understand their words,
right? Yeah,
and I understand all of that. But that's not gonna go well with me if I see my wife. I know how my wife.
I wasn't talking about your wife getting into it, but I'm just talking about, just say your family not there, or your family is in a different section, and we're talking about somebody, and we talking about somebody that's just talking directly to you and not getting into arguing with your family. If you get into your family, I understand that, mm-hmm. But if it's just a regular fan and the interactions between you guys, they're yelling like you suck, you was out partying last night, that's why your stupid ass or something. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, well, that means nothing to me. You could call me everything but a child of God. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm trying to go at your team even harder.
Yeah.
Now I can't make you suffer, but I'm gonna make your team suffer. And they're gonna get all this action.
I would only add this. Imagine how much heckling they got to hear night after night when they're on the road. I think Jordan Clarkson been in the league like 6-7 years or something like that. And so, this might be the first time he's really gone at a fan. So when you think of how many games he might hear random stuff, and you can sit courtside during the game, Wikipedia a player, learn pretty much about their whole life, and just start spitting that out to them during the game if you really want to. I mean, that's how detailed you could get with your trash talk as a fan. So, you imagine you go through 4 or 5 years of a lot of heckling, and just on this particular night, like you said, JR, they losing, you ain't getting the calls you wanted. You all already gave up a lead or whatever it is. Steph over here killing, you know what I mean? And just all comes to a head, and all of a sudden you hear in the background somebody say something about your mama or something like that. You know what I mean? It could just set you off. But at the same time, they were able to go on Wikipedia and learn about what your childhood was like. And so, I think it's a tough thing to have to say that the player should adjust to, because there is a lot of access and there is an easy way to find out about their lives, and they probably do have to deal with a lot of it. 95, 96% of the time they just take it. But there's always that one time where they might get a fan thrown out saying, I hope your mom dies of cancer. I mean, that's something horrible to say, and you don't want to have to hear something like that at your work.
Yeah, I think the wild part is that I think most of this stuff stems from like social media creating an aspect where people feel like they can say whatever from a safe space. And I think this goes to what JR was saying about it getting worse. It is going to get worse because the more the impact social media has, let's just be honest, we live in a social media dominated world. And a lot of these people get online and they say whatever they want to say, as disrespectful as it may be, even on these YouTube platforms. They say whatever they want to say. That's because he's in South Carolina and the person he's talking to is in LA, or he's in Florida and the person he's talking to is in New York. I think that's kind of bleeding into this situation that we're talking about. Those fans literally feel protected. I can say whatever I want to say to them, and it's plausible deniability, right? Because there is no video recording me. All they're going to record is him running in the stands and punching me, and I can use that for a lawsuit. So it's an unfair game that's being played, but it stems from social media. Like, it's not enough consequences in this era. It's not enough people getting punched in the face in this era. Yeah. So they feel like they can just say, I can say whatever I want to say. It ain't nothing going to happen to me. And that's bleeding into it.
Yeah, for me, it just seems like there's no honor about it anymore. Like, they used to be like creative. I remember when I was coaching and we were playing a rival, a couple of blocks away or whatever, and else that you can get of people now, man. You know what I'm saying? You can take a picture of them and get it cut up and stand there. Like, they one of the kids on my teams or whatever had broke up with his girl, and the other team brought a cutout of his girl. And I was like, oh, that's dirty. That's super dirty, but that was creative. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
he's not going. He's not going for that.
Nah, he said he's not going. But I mean, to me, it's like, okay, it's one thing to creatively heckle. It's another thing to make threats. It's another thing to be disrespectful. I don't know if you guys remember the Washington Bullets. They were the Bullets back then. Used to have a guy that used to heckle Mike like it was his profession, bro. You can YouTube this guy. I think his name was Robin Thinker or something like that. Dude used to go to Bullets games when the Bulls used to come through and tear Mike up, and all Mike used to do was just laugh. He actually used to, give him props. He was like, "This dude is good," but it always stayed above a certain line. Now that line, it just does not exist anymore. I mean, we had, a couple of weeks ago, we had the Bears coach Nagy. Nagy's kid was getting the chants at his high school state championship game, bro. They chanting "Fire Nagy" at his kid's game, like. Come on, bro. Like, the kid ain't coaching the Bears, man. There's just no civility anymore. There's no line. There's no creativity. It's toxic, man.
Well, let me ask y'all, do y'all heckle when y'all go to games? You may get you a good seat. They can hear you.
I heckle like a human being, like, boo, you suck, you missed, like, you know what I mean? Like a normal person. But honestly, I think a lot of things can be right at once. I think most of the things you guys all said is correct. The fact that the first initial question is like, are they softer? Yeah, they're softer, honestly, but I think they're also more fed up. You know what I mean? Like you said, Jordan Clarkson's been in the league for however many years, and I think there are a lot of places people kind of know at this point that you're going to go there, you're probably going to hear racist ad hominem attacks, such as Utah or Boston. You go to, Brooklyn or New York, the Knicks, you're probably going to get a lot of like heat if you play like crap. Like, there's just some places that you're going to get a heat or, just a bunch of boos from. But then there are places where people there just don't have any sensibility of you being a human. They're going to say all types of things to get in your head. They don't care what they say to get in your head. And I think a lot of players are just like, yo, we can hear you. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't cool. You talking about my dad. Like, let's say Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, people talk about his mom. You know what I mean? All his family members. You think he want to hear that on the court? Y'all just talking about all his dead family members or even men like their dad. You said they research, talk about your dead homies or whoever it is or your sick kids or your sick sister or whatever. They don't want to hear that while they're trying to play basketball. And the thing y'all said, like, it's not their responsibility. It's the league's responsibility. They need to be on top of that. They need to be like listening out. Like, the security needs to be listen, like not allowing this to just happen, especially if it's closer to the court. Like, they got security everywhere. There shouldn't be any reason the security shouldn't be around enough to hear this stuff. If the players can hear it, then y'all should be able to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, so there is levels to it, like Avian says. So like I said, most of the stuff you guys said was correct. You know what I mean? And so, but when we say it's the player's fault, or they should just deal with it, or they should just suck it up, I'm like, I can suck up a boo, or you talking about my family, or if it was funny or something. I mean, not my family or about my game, but if it was funny, you know what I mean? Like, when you're talking about people's family members, or like, you know, being racist, or people, you know, just stuff that's way over the line. It's like, how could you even say that with a straight face? Like, you got to get rid of those type of energy in those people. It just messes up everybody. They're kids at these games. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how the whole narrative is. It's okay to say the N-word amongst the white people. The white, when it was baseball, the white dad would say the N-word, or whoever it was, and the kid said, what was that? And then the kid would say it too. So we can't just allow people to just say whatever they want, especially in open public forums, when we allow kids and, you know, people who can be easily swayed and influenced by like words and actions. So
that's why I had the ultimate respect, man, for LeBron James, during that Delonte West era. You know what I mean? Could you imagine, bruh, what he heard? You know what I mean? Scoring 50 a game.
Still saying that. They probably still say that. Hey, man, why won't you get your? You know, I ain't even gonna say it here, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they still hitting them with that probably.
And even Kobe during the rape trial.
Hey, watch that word.
Oh yeah, boy. During his trial.
Great.
But yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, he leaving court, coming to the court, and they chanting that. And he's still giving them 40 and 50 every night. But it's just like, you got to have a different mindset. That would have broke most players, if we're gonna be honest.
I'm sure Kyrie Irving is about to go through that now that he's back, and he's gonna be going all over the place. I'm sure they're gonna be shouting all kinds of wild stuff at him. So, you know, we still got a way to go.
Final thoughts on this, y'all.
Hey, I'll tell you something. I don't know if y'all ever still going to high school games or whatever the case may be. My son's in high school. But, man, some of these high schools are some of the most vicious.
Yeah.
These kids are some of the most vicious, creative, up-and-coming things. So, it's crazy, you know, how some fans have, like you said, got more aware of everything that's going on. And these young kids, you know how more sensitive they are. It don't take much to throw them off, you know.
Hank,
their whole game shot.
Hank, you know where I'm from. You know where I've coached at, bro. The Chicago Public League, dog. There have been times where I've been like, you know what? We going where? Like, I've considered concealed carry going to some of these schools, bro, because it's like, man, it's off the chain. Like I told you, I was coaching junior high basketball and we couldn't have fans because we had people gambling on games and fighting, bro. For 7th, 8th graders, not high school kids, 7th, 8th graders. So I think that's where it comes from, is that you wait on the lower levels. We are allowing things to happen at the lower levels, to reps especially. I don't even know how we're going to have youth sports in 5 years, because there ain't nobody putting on the zebra shirt right now, bro. It's hell reffing anything under college level right now. It's hell. So that's where it gets normalized at. If I can curse out a 13-year-old from the stands, why can't I curse out a millionaire 25-year-old? You know what I mean? That's where it's got to get
paid
checked.
for. Yeah.
All right, y'all, gotta switch it up. If you guys just tuning in, welcome to Lapeef Sports. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys get your Teach Hanley. I do have the link posted to the top of the chat. Click it, you get a free gift, man. Shout out to Teach Hanley for sponsoring this stream. And I remember I told you guys to pay attention to the emotions that's going around, and we asking ourselves around the NBA, are they too emotional? We have yet another situation where Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. leaves the arena at halftime after heat exchange with assistant coach. So tempers flared inside the Houston Rockets locker room on Saturday night. Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. and center Christian Wood reportedly got into a heat exchange with assistant coach John Lucas at halftime. Lucas, according to the Athletic Shams, Torino called those two others out at halftime for their poor play, which prompted Porter to throw something inside of the locker room before leaving the Toyota Center completely. Wow, he left the whole would stay but refused to sub in the game. It's quite interesting, man. I don't know what time this is. Some of the things that I'm seeing in the NBA and sports all around is just unheard of. So let's talk about it. And again, we talked about these emotions surrounding the NBA. Let's go, Cal.
First of all, I think the Rockets organization, some going on there. I mean, it's one thing after another out of Houston. You know, I think their owner, their GM has some issues with some comments he made. And then they got rid of James Harden. Once they got rid of James Harden, I knew they was gonna, you know, pretty much be in obscurity for a couple of years. They got a new coach. That coach isn't really having the impact on the locker room like he thought he was, or like he was built to have. And now this kind of stuff where they got pretty much open rebellion and a little bit of, you know, just open insubordination from the players. And I think that, yes, the players are too sensitive. You know, you get into it with your coach and you pack up your stuff and you go home in the middle of the game. You know, that's outrageous a little bit. But at the same time, we don't necessarily know what words were said. You know, even though players are sensitive, you know, these are still considered grown men, grown adults getting into it. And, you know, the coach can't talk to the players any kind of way either. And so, you know, it's kind of hard to really say who was in the right or wrong here, considering we don't really know what goes on in the locker room. But you would just think that, man, a player got so upset that he don't want to check into the game. You know, I think that that's worse than going home. You know what I mean? At least you left, like you're kind of standing on whatever it is that you said versus you went back to the bench and now you're going to sit and cry the whole time. I don't think that that's necessarily a good look. But I think that both things are true. I think that, you know, when men are in heated conversation and you already making money and you kind of a young player, you still might have a certain idea about yourself and who you are as a player. And he can't talk to me like this. That's kind of hard to, you know, push up against an assistant coach who's trying to get you to play and hold you accountable for what's going on out there on the court. So it's really just a mess. It really feels like a mess going on in Houston. You know, I don't even know who the leaders are on that team. You know, John Wall not even playing. I don't know what kind of impact he might have, if any. So, you know, I think it's just a mess over in Houston for sure.
All right, they said the conversation, they posted the convo. I don't know if you guys can look to see if you can find it.
Look,
but
man, what you're seeing is we have a generation now of kids that can't be coach hard. They just can't. You know, and this situation, I would actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is actually a byproduct of actual some levels of white supremacy. Somebody thought it was a good idea, and they've been doing this a lot recently, a lot in the NBA, to hire these older black guys who come from a certain generation, who talk to kids a certain way. Well, we got these 18, 19-year-old kids. We need somebody to go in there and, you know, be their daddy and yell at them or whatever. Like, these are grown men making six figures every month, man. They grown for the most part at this point. You see what happened to Urban Meyer down in Jacksonville. You know what I mean? You can't. I don't like the fact that we can't coach kids hard anymore. This comes all. I mean, think about that. But the last time I think I got taken out of a game because I had a dispute with the coach in sixth grade, and I think my daddy went upside my head for that even happening. You know what I mean? But now that's not. We don't live in that world anymore, man. You can't play the Bobby Knight role with these kids. Bro, the league I was coaching in here in Chicago Public, you can't even run kids anymore, bro. You can't even run them. You can't even make them go run laps. That's considered physical torture now, bro. So you can't ask these guys you can't bring a baby boomer in there who's 65, 66, 66 years old, used to holler, curse, and screaming at anybody that he's responsible for, and expect an 18, 19-year-old kid that can't even keep his pants pulled up. How did they think that was going to work? You know what I mean? It's sad that we're in that spot, but that's where we're at right now. And it creates this horrible dichotomy of the old black guys versus the young black guys, and it just plays out real bad. But at the end of the day, you can't treat these young men like that anymore. You can't do the whole, you know, I'm gonna run you, I'm gonna do all that. Like they don't even speak that language. The adults that raised them up in the game don't even talk to them like that. The AAU coaches, the high school coaches, they're their friends now. They're not they coaches, they're their friends, they're their homies. So they can't step into the league and have some guy that's, put 20 years in the game, some salty assistant coach, cursing and hollering, screaming at them. They don't even know how to process that, man. We don't live in that world no more, unfortunately.
So what happened was basically they
make sure you don't say that. Make sure you don't say that C word.
Me?
Oh, I thought you were about to read what happened with the Houston Exchange with the coach.
Kind of. Basically, what happened was they gave up 47 points in the second quarter, and he was angry with them that they weren't giving effort. And I guess you got an emotional team. They're young, and they have a losing team. So it's like they probably felt like they were giving all the effort that they could or whatever it was, and words were exchanged. But I don't have the exact words, but it just seemed like it was, some emotional people. And the coach was getting on them about the effort.
I was just looking it up just now, so it's a little bit more information. So in the locker room at halftime, Lucas reportedly doubled down on calling the team out for their lack of effort, especially Christian Wood. Wood reportedly missed a mandatory C-19 test period and thus didn't even start the game. Tensions being high, it seems Porter Jr. reacted and got involved in a heated exchange with Lucas. This resulted in an object being thrown by the player at an assistant coach, followed by Porter Jr. actually leaving the Toyota Center in the middle of the game. Wood was also unhappy, refusing to check back in and play. So the coach said after the game that it was a coach decision, but there was things that contradicts that. So obviously it's more to the situation that was going on. But nevertheless, we always talking about fumbling the bag. And I believe that if it's not physically affecting you, like if the coach said you can't get in, you just can't get in the game. I feel like that's something that you can address at a higher level if need be. But I don't think right there in that moment that you need to have all this going on, because when you look back, you got fines, you got possibly like suspensions. And if you were in the wrong, then how can you expect to start? Again, we don't know everything, but as this story unfolds, it is going to be interesting to see how this unpacks.
Yeah, man. I think the main issue with this stuff, it starts at the crib first, man. A lot of these dudes growing up in households with single mothers, they getting babied, they getting coddled, and not only that, but they are good at a sport. And when you're good at a sport, I'm not sure. I'm sure everybody listening knows somebody or was good themselves in high school and at them AAU leagues. You do what you want to do. Everybody else do what the coach say. If you good, you do what you want to do. I don't have rules. You know what I'm saying? I can show up to the meeting late and get a pat on the ass. All right, I'm good. I can show up to practice late, or I can miss practice. And I can show up to the game and just, as long as I'm putting up 30 or 40, I got free reign to do what I want to do because y'all need me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mindset all the way up from elementary school. Well, start at the crib, all the way up from elementary school to now. I've been getting coddled and babied and coddled and babied, and now I'm in the league and I'm a millionaire. And you expect me to listen to you, who I make more money than? No, I don't even have a daddy at home that I listen to. But you want me to listen to you, and you got the audacity to yell at me? No, I'm gonna do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
that's an old head too. It's like an old head who has a whole different aspect of how the game should be practiced and played too. So it's a huge generation gap there as well.
Yeah. So it's like. Yeah, so that right there is the mindset that a lot of these players have, and it's a situation where again it starts at the crib. Like even one of my men said earlier, like my dad was on my ass in 6th grade for talking back to the coach. Mine was too, because I did the same thing. I got out of pocket. I think I was 8th grade though, because I started feeling myself. I'm putting up 30 a game or whatever, and I got into an argument with the coach, like I almost came to blows. And my daddy said, "You wrong. I don't give a damn what happened. That's a grown man. You respect your elders. That man that got leverage in, tenure and different things like that. You respect your elders. But these kids are not getting that message. So not only am I not getting that message from a kid up, but now I'm a multi-millionaire. So you add all that, and it's toxic, bro.
And I see my favorite player, Ben Simmons, who just hijacked the organization. So I'm gonna go ahead. If he did it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, that's crazy because, man, my son got out of pocket one time when he was a freshman in high school with his coach. Man, my coach texted me and told me, man, I ran up on that boy in practice and I choked his ass out. I said, what? We're not gonna do this. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're not gonna be disrespectful. You're not gonna be disrespectful. This black man loves you, take care of you, showing up. Man was there from you since you was 8th grade, let you play on varsity. No, you gonna respect this dude. They had a clear
Yep.
practice.
That's the
Yeah,
difference
give me some time.
between my generation and these younger. Like there was that line. The people around you, the other black men around you, were not gonna let you step out and be disrespectful without somebody checking you. Now nobody can check these kids anymore. And now we see the collateral damage in the streets, and we see the collateral damage in the real world.
We said it before, hey man. We talked about how some of these mothers won't let you check them. I mean, I see kids in store acting a fool, and I want to go over and say something so bad, but then you kind of hold back because you got to worry about this mother getting on you. Don't be talking to my son. My son fine. Your son's whooping your ass right now. He dragged you up and down these grocery aisles, talking crazy to you, doing crying and acting a fool. But you don't want nobody to say something? You right, ma'am. That's your son. I'm gonna let you be. I'm gonna let you rock out.
And then you got these dads, man, who be like part-time dads. So when they are, around their kids, they trying to be super dad, and they run out there and give the ref a 2-piece for a bad call. Like, fam, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I seen a ref get the sickest 2-piece, man, for a bad call. Cause this dad, he not usually at the game.
Yep.
But now I'm at the game. I'm riding for my son, dog. Why he ain't get that call? Hold up. He run out on the court. Yo, sleep. Gave the ref a nap, yo.
And another thing that dads in this era is trying to live vicariously through my son. I wasn't that good at ball, but my son got a chance to go to the league. So because of that, I'm gonna let him do whatever he want to do. He can do no wrong because he going to the league, and we're gonna make sure that happen. If the coach messing up, you know what? I will threaten to remove my son from this team, or y'all remove that coach in AAU or in high school or whatever the case may be, middle school. So
that's what your boy did to the coach down there in Chino Hills. Didn't LeVar do that to the coach down there in Chino Hills, man? Got the coach fired down there. See, like I don't know what the backdrop was. He might have had a legitimate reason for making this coach get up out of Dodge. But when kids see that, that's a problem, man. That's something that LeVar should have handled behind the scenes with all the other adults. But when the kids see that you willing to put your you-know-what on the table for them, regardless of how it looks to all the other adults, that's how you set kids up for failure, man. You really do.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys just tuning in, welcome to Lapeef Sports on the Lapeef Network. Appreciate all the support and engagement within the chats, man. You guys, this is the best chat ever. It's lit. So I want to say thank you. Again, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We got one more topic before we get into the RENEE GRACIE. RENEE. We're going to talk about RENEE, man, and how it applies to everyday life. So stay tuned for that. But before we do, we're going to talk about your boy LeBron. We got any Lakers fans in the house? Any Lakers?
You already know right here. What's up?
Who is that? Oh, okay.
Well, actually, I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron fan.
Okay,
wherever he goes, I go. He go to Turkey. I'm gonna have a Turkey jersey on.
Perfect. You remind me. If you guys are Laker fans in the chat, man, just go ahead and put a L. If you guys are Laker fans, I'm just curious if we got any Lakers fans. But LeBron is in the news. Slight work, right? It's not too much. It's not for winning. We can say that. My bad, my bad.
Yo, you are so happy the Bulls is winning right now. I can tell.
Go ahead.
It had nothing to do with the Bulls. It's just I'm gonna tell you the issue that I have with LeBron. It's just the whine. It's the whine after everything. You feel like as big as he is, you just feel like he can't be touched.
You just mad because he prevented y'all from going to the finals so many times. Nope. I think that's what it is.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. You heard him. He said nope. But we're gonna talk about LeBron James. LeBron James seems to agree with Jay-Z that no one can stand on the same stage with him for a versus, and maybe, just maybe, he feels the same way about himself on the basketball court. LBJ, LeBron James, was definitely feeling good Sunday night, rapping along line by line to Jay's imaginary player, while in the middle of what looks like a pretty swanky evening with his wife, Savannah, and friends. What's interesting is the video plays like a public service announcement to all the haters dissing the Lakers for the subpar season. They're only 16 and 18. I repeat, 16 and 18 right now. Yeah, wow.
One less
Check
on
the
the
look
Bulls
on
won a chip.
LeBron's face as he drops the line, like y'all rapping as
When
Ian.
last time
Y'all
Bulls won a
funny.
chip?
It don't matter, man. The time has come. The time has come. I don't know if it's age that caught up with LeBron. I don't know if it's the support. I don't know if it's just they're not buying the wine anymore. I don't know. The NBA seems to be talking about DeMar DeRozan now and Steph Curry's. It's a new era, man. I think he's only holding on just for his son, but I don't see him winning the championship. It's cool to have that positive mindset. We talking about LeBron. Much respect to his game and all his accomplishments and what he has done to this day. But I don't think they have it, man. I don't think he have any haters. I just think the fact that they just suck. That's the reality of it. What are your take real quick before we get into the meat of the conversation? Avon, I see you busting up over there. I know we got some hurt feelings. Let me get the hurt feelings report, man. Let me call HR, man, and see if we get this hurt feelings report out right now. Because I think some people are gonna be having to fill it out, and I know the complaints are gonna come. My apologies. Let me check the chat real quick. We got any L's in there? Any L's? I don't see no L's, man. We got too many Lakers fans. Oh, L for the Lakers fan, W for the Warriors fan. Okay. We got a new member. Shout out to the new member. Dedicated to my children's future, man. We love you, Green Gang. But let's talk about it real quick, man. Go ahead, Avon.
Look, man. Here's the crazy thing about where they at right now. If you were LeBron, everybody's like, well, they need to trade Westbrook, or they need to trade Anthony Davis, or they need to trade this and this guy. Wouldn't the easiest solution to be trade yourself somewhere else, bro? You know what I mean? Like, because you are surrounded by bums, man, and you brought them in for lack of all the GM. Period. The GM. You pick these guys, so just take your L, bro. Like, I think we're somewhere at this point in society sometimes we can't take our L. And when you feel like people are judging us on the outside looking in or whatever, or they haters, nah, bro. You're 16 and 18 with a maxed out roster. You paying people, you got $100 million worth of bums you starting with right now, man. And this was by your design. Instead of, lashing out at people, lashing out at the fans or all that stuff, man, lash out at your homies. Lash out at yourself. You built this. This is you. Westbrook. You built this. You know what I mean? And the whole thing with the Jay-Z lyrics, man, come on, man, bro. You too old for that, man. Like that, if 42 years old, that's like me 42 years old, sneak dissing somebody on social media with some Drake lyrics or something, man. Come sit down, bro. Don't do that. You're too old for that, man. You're too old.
Go ahead, O. What you got to say about these?
I mean, let's just talk about it. I really believe, and I'm a Bron fan. I love Bron, but I do believe that Bron is chasing Jordan at the end of the day. LeBron is trying to stamp his legacy and cement his legacy, and to where it'll be undeniable. You know what I mean? I mean, he'd already been to 10 chips. He won 4, lost 6, but he's been 10 times. A lot of people haven't even been once. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like what LeBron doing right now is he loves the game. He's trying to make it work, trying to put teams together. I don't think him trading himself is going to fix anything. He just needs to, I don't know. Honestly, his time just may be up as far as winning the chip, because you got so many good teams out here. You got so many good talents, but he's trying to piece together like what we did in Miami, what he, the bubble championship he won. But it's just times are changing right now. And a lot of teams are just really good. A lot of teams are putting a lot of work. And I mean, and talking about the roster, is him, AD, and Westbrook.
You said
that's taking up all the money right there. The rest of the team outside of Tucker is making vet minimum. So you really have nobody on the roster. So if Westbrook were to leave or AD were to leave, I think that would create a better opportunity. Or him, take a pay cut. You making almost 40 mil. Like, what's wrong with you? Taking a pay cut. You making money everywhere else. So if I were him, I would just move a little more strategically. That way you'll have some more, finances everywhere else. But hey, it's worked before. He'd been there 10 times. So, it's like you can't argue with the man at some point, because he's been in the finals more than he's, over half the time that he's been in the league. Nobody can say they've done that. So I mean, he's chasing everything. He's chasing assists. He's chasing steals. He's trying to be the top of everything. So it's going to be undeniable.
I'm gonna brush over this real quick, but when I saw the team, I instantly thought like a bunch of old heads. It's not gonna work. When they traded for Anthony Davis, I just knew it wasn't gonna work. He stayed hurt. He's just not reliable. And we had multiple conversations about this. I just didn't see it happening. Bring Wes over. He likes to have the ball in his hand. LeBron still has yet to take a lesser role. So when he comes in, he expects to have the ball in his hand. You got AD, on social media, responding, talking shit, and doing all type of stuff. Man, it's like, come on, this is not with all this youth and this talent that's coming up. I don't know what they're putting in the food, but it's a different ball game out here now. You're gonna need some people to keep up with them. So exactly how I thought in the beginning of the season is what the result of that is right now. So go ahead, Kyle. I think you want to say something.
Yeah, up to this point, I might have to say I was wrong about the Lakers because I kind of had them coming out the West to start the season because I was kind of relying on their experience. There's talking about Frank Vogel is a defensive genius and whatnot. They got veteran guys that they'll be able to show some character and coach themselves up where they don't necessarily need to be these electrifying players. And it turns out that none of them play any defense, which is a thing that I definitely overlooked. So when it comes to the Lakers, they might be, looking down some tough times in this next year or two. They may be staring down a rebuild because when they get rid of their guys, they're such an old team that almost every single guy on their team is likely either going to be retiring or getting traded for veteran minimums or whatever it'll be, to the point where they're going to have to rebuild. But as far as LeBron goes, I think that he's still showing that he is a guy that you got to account for, at least offensively. He can still do a lot of things on the court that a lot of guys can't do. So, and I don't see him retiring as a Laker. There's a lot of talk of him trying to finesse his way back onto the Cavs and maybe retire as a Cavalier. Cleveland has a nice young little roster going, so I could see him trying to muscle his way back into that position. And it'll still be, justifiable because he's still playing really well. And he's kind of reminding everybody that he's not going to be some vet that's going to fall off a cliff necessarily. So, as far as LeBron goes, he still has another year, 2 or 3 where he'll be highly productive. But the Lakers, it's hard to really know what's going to happen to them. I mean, AD, I think his contract is up at the end of this season. I want to say is maybe a restricted free agent or unrestricted free agent, one of the two. Carmelo, that experiment isn't really working out. They got a bunch of other old guys that are going to, Trevor Ariza, I imagine he's not going to make it. Russell Westbrook, they might keep him, you know what I mean? I can see him lasting, but I really don't see the Lakers having a real bright future after this.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in on? Go ahead.
Yeah, man, I think the issue with Braun is that this team is not set up to his strengths. That's just what it is. Braun needs shooters surrounding him. And I think Braun is delusional in the fact that he wants to, quote unquote, hand the keys over and kind of take a back seat and just get buckets here and there and do my thing. But that's just not what makes Braun successful. What makes Braun successful is when he's running point forward. And he got him a couple shooters or whatever. But even if you look at most of the teams that he won a championship on, bubble championship aside, because I feel like that was kind of anomaly. It was kind of weird circumstances. But most of the teams that he won a chip on, he had guys that were either shooters around him or guys that could play off of the ball. D-Wade is a slasher. He can play off of the ball. Kyrie is ball dominant, but he can still give you 30 off the ball, slashing or whatever. He doesn't need to dribble for 20 seconds to score. But now he's playing with people who need that to happen. Russ is – again, one of the most inefficient ball dominant players that I've ever seen, and that's crippling them. But I guarantee you one thing: if they would have traded for Buddy Hield instead of Russ, we'd be having a totally different conversation right now.
I agree.
Totally different conversation. AD's health has always been suspect. I mean, when he got traded to the Lakers, I was like, nah, that ain't gonna work. AD ain't gonna play. AD ain't gonna give you but 50 games a season. Now they got lucky in that anomaly chip that they won, that bubble stuff. But now AD's just regressing back to the mean. He's what he's always been. He's going to give you 20 and 10 on most nights, but, he's going to miss 30 games most seasons. That's just what it is. But, I think Braun, the construction of this team is not built to what his strengths is. Braun can still go out there and give you 35 and 8 and 8. That's just, still at 40 years old. But he doesn't have the proper setup to win because nobody on that team is a threat to hit from the outside consistently. And that's his problem.
Yeah, LeBron he can't live down that championship, dog. Like that's gonna have an asterisk forever. You know what I mean? In that Jordan conversation, man, I'm like, oh, you should mean that potato chip he won? You know what I mean? Like he's never gonna get respect for that. He's never gonna get respect for that, man.
You talking about the bubble? Talking about the bubble championship?
Yeah, man, the bubble. I hate that he won it in the bubble because I knew that, you know, people was gonna put that X right next to it. You know what I mean? But you know, but they never did that with the lockout seasons when people won championships in the lockout seasons. But you know how that go. But AD, like what Barkley said, man, Barkley called him street clothes, man. He didn't get that name for a reason, bro. Like literally, yo, he the freshest one, the tallest at the end of the bench, man. Like I think they should have reconstructed that team. Or even now with the players they have, I think they need to emphasize the younger players, the Taylor Horton, Tucker, Malik Monk. You know, I think they need to give those guys the bulk of the minutes and just work the older heads around those. But those guys need to be the core. I mean, of course, LeBron is, you know, he still need to be in the mix with the young cats, but they need to put the bulk of the minutes on those young dudes, man, and just have everybody work around them.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. That's a great conversation. Real quick about LeBron, man. Shout out to Laker fans. I hope you guys get what you want. I understand that. I guess the whole thing was like, yeah, the season hadn't even started. You know, season starts after Christmas, and I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. It's like they so far the pitch, especially in that West, man. The West is real competitive. I just can't really see them making it. But you never know. You know, maybe they might get lucky, like the shots that we seen from DeRozan, right? Picture that. Anyhow, appreciate you guys for tuning in to Lapeef Sports on the Lapeef Network. Shout out to our sponsor, Teach Hanley. The link is posted at the top of the chat. Make sure you guys click that. Man, we finally have skincare, and I would hate for you guys to miss it. On top of that, we're getting a free gift if you click that link, so don't miss out on that opportunity. So shout out to Teach. And we're moving on to the conversation of the day. Conversation of the day, what you guys been waiting for. We're talking about Renee Gracie. Renee Gracie. Let's talk about her real quick. So, adult film star Renee Gracie. I quit driving race cars for porn and have no regrets. Renee Gracie is ranking in cash from OnlyFans and porn. Not just OnlyFans, but porn as well. But that wasn't always the case for the adult film star, telling TMZ Sports her career as a race. 1 second, get rid of this. Her former career as a race car driver was so toxic, it forced her to quit the sport altogether. Forced her to quit the sport altogether. Go figure that. I left for many reasons. It was a toxic environment, difficult for a female, obviously. I got treated differently than everybody else. Sounds like the victim. Gracie says it was just an extremely taxing environment and industry to be in, unfortunately, for my mental health. Wow. But I guess over OnlyFans and porn helped her mental health. Gracie's story is amazing. She used to be a driver for Paul Morris Motorsport Racing Team, where she raced for several years. In 2017, she jumped to another team, Dragon Motorsport. Renee eventually left the sport, but admits she was down on her luck for a while before turning to OnlyFans. I had a bad year in between where I wasn't racing. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was lucky enough when I left racing, my fan base actually grew. Wow, attention. I had more people following me. I wasn't controlled by the managers and sponsors and stuff. So she wanted to be loose. So let's talk about Renee, man. Let's talk about Renee right there. Loose lips, what we're gonna call her. Loose lips.
I mean, you know, it's one of those fallback plans, man. I think, you know, OnlyFans has just straight up become a safety net, yo. Like if you don't want to be in the cubicle, you know, if you don't want to be in that call center, if you don't want to be in the bank, you know, a bank teller, like, man, let me throw that out, yo. Forget all this school. I went, you know, forget all these degrees. I went, let me hop on here and get this money, yo. Could you imagine, like, as men, yo, if we could just get filmed playing video games or eating and just get 10K a month, 5K a month?
Hell yeah, you know, just sit on the sofa in some gray sweatpants, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, even if you look at from like a content, direction or content perspective, think about like YouTubers, YouTube channels. You take a male, you take a female, yo. Them titties and that ass is automatically gonna get them 5 to 10K head start on you. You know what I mean? They put on some short shorts. You know what I mean? They gonna shoot past you. You out here busting your ass on content, trying to make some stuff work. All they got to do is show up and smile. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Look, man, when I was 25 years old, I moved to LA to put my hand in the ring to try auto racing. I did it because I was out here bad, man. I was out here street racing, man. And the woman I was dealing with at the time said, you have to find a productive way to put this energy. So that's what I tried to do. I was in and out of that sport in 6 months, bro. It's super expensive. It's hyper competitive. And when she's sitting here talking about why I was being controlled, no, ma'am, you were trash. You were absolutely trash. You ran 50 races. The highest place you ever got was 18. They brought you in because you was cute. You could probably bring some sponsorship in, and you were trash. That's all it came down to. This is it, like with racing is political. And because number one, you have to be good, but the second part of it is you have to be personable and you have to be able to attract sponsors. She probably was able to do the second half. The first part where you actually have to get in the car and do something useful, she was not good at it. So to sit around here and say you got mistreated or the team didn't give you opportunity, ma'am, the only reason your OnlyFans behind was in that car was because of your behind. That happens a lot now. People are, unfortunately, it makes it hard for people of color and women who actually want to be in that seat because they love to race. It makes it hard for them because everybody else around them assumes you there on what they call a minority scholarship. You know what I mean? So for her to sit here and cry about it, you were bad. You were just bad. And then your alternative was to go sell whatever it is you got, just go ahead and roll with that. Fine. That's the world we live in now. But I hate it. I absolutely hate it when people go out and try to do something they bad at and they say they had to fall back on something else because they were treated unfairly. Well, quite frankly, she just couldn't do the damn job, period.
Honestly, she was probably getting heat from the other drivers or whoever, basically, because, she's selling her sexuality now, but she was probably doing that then too. Like, I think she got her fake butt and fake lips and fake whatever when she was, going through it because she realized she won't nothing. So she's like, I got to stay here, make money somehow. And her promoters or whoever sponsors was probably telling her, it's fake, bro. Everything's fake. I went, did a little quick Google search to see if it was true or not. I didn't watch the video, but it was like a little screenshot. I was like, that's fake off the rip. So yeah, man, she was probably getting heat. The toxicity was probably coming from her basically not really being good. And they're like, you're not good. And the only reason you're here is because you're selling your sexuality. And she probably was talking ish to the other dudes. And that's where the whole toxicity. No, it wasn't toxic. You sucked. They were telling you sucked. And you were already selling your sexuality then. You know what? I'm gonna go get a bigger bag here. And I don't think the transition was hard for her. I think in the quote it said she didn't second guess it, didn't have no mental, nothing on her from going to that. She was fine being a porn star and an OnlyFans model. So I don't think the toxicity was not warranted. She basically asked for it.
All right. What you got, Crew Season?
Yeah, I think she's just doing what most women do in this era, man. Like OnlyFans and different things like that has become such a big staple, man. It's like, again, I think Bro said it earlier, it's a fallback plan. It's like, okay, I can go out here and try to get my degree, or I can go out here and try to get a good job and hold down a good job. But second, I feel uncomfortable if I'm attractive and men is giving me stuff for nothing or damn near nothing. Because we're gonna be honest, most of these OnlyFans pages are chicks posting pictures that are on their Instagram already. Let's just call a spade a spade.
You don't even have to have an OnlyFans in order for chicks to get money. So imagine having an OnlyFans. We got people cash apping.
Yeah. So it's like, if that's the environment we in, I can't really blame her for that. You know what I'm saying? Like her passion for racing was clearly never there. If we're gonna be honest, just like Bro said, you cute. So you got in or whatever. You might have liked driving cars, you might have liked racing, but you wasn't passionate about it. You didn't love it. That's why it's so easy for you to walk away from it. But, again, it just speaks to a bigger culture that we are in today. Men are out here giving women money for being attractive. So they would be foolish not to take advantage of it. Now, how you take advantage of it, according to your moral structure, whatever it's set up, whatever. Hers clearly is, this is in bounds. So, I can't really knock her for it because just like bro said, if I could sit on my couch with gray shorts watching the Cowboys play and I'm making 5-10 bands a month, I'm quitting my job and I'm sitting on the couch and watching them Cowboys play for $5,000 to $10,000 a month. It's just what it is.
Wow. I hear you. Shout out to Rilla.
Shout out to Rilla, man.
That was well said. I ain't got nothing to add to that.
There you go. What you got for us, Hank? I seen you over there kind of shaking your head a little bit. What's going on?
Hey, man, I think, it was all the big plot, baby. It was all part of her master plan. She was already ready to dip and dive to the section into the fan. I just think she's trying to get a different section of the audience. So I don't know was she in Formula One or was she in NASCAR? I don't know which one she was in.
She was in it's the equivalent of like low A minor league baseball, bro. You can't succeed in that. You don't even need to be behind the wheel of a car, bro. If you can't finish top 10 in the racing. Here's another thing, right? I'm gonna throw another little racing caveat at you. Racing is a rich man's game. At that level that she was at, she's racing against guys who are doctors, investors, lawyers who got the money to still chase that dream in their late 30s, mid 40s, and still going. I forget the guy who was one of these actors that was on one of these soap operas, man. He's a real big racer, and he's been doing it for about 10 years, man. So this isn't the way we think about sports with a normal pipeline. If we find guys young and we bring them to the surface, it still kind of works in racing. But once we figure out at about 18, 19 years old that you either got it or you not, it kind of becomes like a big ass rec league, and whoever can pay to play will play. And if you 18, 19 years old and you got 40-year-old men whooping you on the track, it's not for you. So if she can't succeed at that level, if she can't beat 40-year-old men around the track, she has no business behind the wheel of a car, bro.
Well, look, like I said, I think it was all the part of the master plan. She was I think she was just, like I said, looking for a different audience. You know what I'm saying? So gather this race car audience. She's trying to pull them into all the sections. Hey, man, I said it before. I said it. You got to let a hoe be a hoe, man. She had them hoe tendencies before she got into race game. She's probably being turned on by the power of the motor. It kind of turned on, gave a little tickle down there. You know what I'm talking about? Gave a little thrill. Yeah. So you know how it goes, man. And she got a different audience now. She got the race car industry audience. Now they all clicking on the OnlyFans and doing what they need to do. So hey, man, look, she's getting her money after she feel like she needs to. She ain't worried about nothing else. She ain't worried about all the critics. I know y'all gonna keep on clicking that OnlyFans page. I know that.
Like I said, she said in the interview that JR, I think, read off that she take a year off between races and she's trying to find herself. I swear that's the time where she got them butt shots, them lips filled, and everything else to change herself and to be able to transition into only. And she stayed one more year to get her fans in her, the dudes all watch, and then was out. I got my audience. I letting them know I'm out. They all transition. They want to see this because I'm a race car driver. I'm one of their biggest female, supporters. A bunch of old 40-year-old men, like Avian said. So
it's Patrick Dempsey, the guy from Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, he's like one of the hot race car drivers. Man, it's almost 50 years old. It's a pay-to-play game. The best drivers are picked before they get 16 years old. They go to F1 and NASCAR, and everybody else just kind of gets pushed out to the trash. If you can afford it, you can race. If not,
there was a brother working on the track, man, years ago, telling her like, "Yo, you still about to drive these cars? Like, yo, you need to put these cars down, fam. You got a wagon, yo. You don't need nothing. Leave these cars alone, yo. You already got a wagon."
Go ahead, bro. No, I was going to say, I think instinctively on some level as a man, there's a resentment level there because it's like a lot of us have worked really terrible jobs for not a lot of money. And like, we just don't have an option to be like, skip it. I'm going to take my drawers off, put the camera on it, and just make some money and just leave it be. We can't do that, bro. Like this, that's why I have such a low tolerance level for anybody, especially like a woman. Say you just can't find a job or a source of income as long as if you got a body that is not male. There's a way for you to make money in this world or whatever, man. I don't like to hear those complaints. Get up, you got to get up, you got to do something. Use what you got to get what you want.
You know, and I bet that's going to be a gateway to a lot of female athletes who are popular, you know, maybe in college or whatever. And then instead of going to the WNBA or to the WMLS or whatever it is, they decide to do OnlyFans. You know, you could be, you know what I mean, an Olympian, let's say, and then, you know, you may not really be getting that much money off being an Olympic athlete. And then, 1 or 2 years, you got an OnlyFans. So, you know, I mean, it's kind of crazy that they could do that, but I mean, the market is set up to where a woman could just kind of fall back on that, make her money, and then when it's time to be an athlete again, they could be an athlete. It seems like society is kind of encouraging it a little bit, or at least not criticizing, you know, certain women for it. You know what I mean? So they kind of celebrate the fact that they say, oh, well, the racing industry is very misogynistic and they didn't want me to be my own individual anyway. So I went over here and now I can be my own boss and stuff like that. So a certain segment of society is going to be like, yeah, you know, cheer you on. You go, girl. That's independent living right there. So more female athletes who may not be a superstar are probably going to see this and be like, you know what, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to get my 1 or 2 years in as a pro athlete. If I wash out, I'm going to just be an OnlyFans model, you know, leverage my Instagram, leverage all these things and still have the same kind of fans, still make the same kind of money and with, you know, almost way less work. All you got to do is take a picture or an hour video and you make the same amount of money. So I feel like she's probably the start of a brand new, you know, trend.
You saw the JR, remember the joint you posted with DeMar DeRozan training with the, you on mute, JR? Oh, I think. Yeah, well, the joint where he was training, Liz Cambridge, you know, shorty in the WNBA, tall, light-skinned chick, she's doing OnlyFans now. You know what I mean? So can you imagine?
Australian girl?
Yes, bro. She's doing OnlyFans now. So that's going to be a backup plan because, you know, they already have the complaints about them being, you know, supremely underpaid. So I can see a fleet of them, you know, going to that situation.
And I bet she gonna make money, bro. Yeah, sure. I bet you she's gonna make money.
Yeah, hey, I might have to look her up. I ain't gonna lie, I might have to look her up.
She
got a fan in me, baby.
But 6'8", dog, 6'8", Jesus.
Hey, that's a lot of sex appeal right there, baby. That's a lot of sex appeal.
She a tall drink of water, fam.
And then if I don't really know too much about it. All I know is, you know, you can get into an OnlyFans page and it costs like $2. So if you get enough people, I mean, that's a pretty good income for you to not really even have to do a lot of real mental stimulating work compared to what other people got to do for their jobs. So, you know, to Avon's point, I think there is a little bit of jealousy or a little bit of just resentment that, you know, women like that can, you know, take leverage of technology and what's available out there medically in terms of adjusting your body with technology in terms of these cameras. You could get a whole business going for just, you know, pictures and video. So,
yeah, I'm open up the phone. Y'all can continue. I'm just want to drop the link. I'll probably bring up about maybe 3 or 4 people. You must be on camera, must absolutely be on camera. Everybody won't make it, unfortunately. So if I sense that it's a troll of some sort, or if I just got any suspicions, you will not be allowed on the platform. Just giving you the heads up. You must remain on camera. If you do come in the background, you must remain on the camera. So if we do get some calls, you know, we'll keep pushing it. But then if not, then, you know, we'll have our little conversation. That'll be the end of it. So my apologies, y'all.
That's all good. I do got a question. I don't know if I missed the MVP conversation. Who y'all got picked for MVP in the NBA?
I think everybody said DeRozan.
Oh, wow.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Troll. You know he troll.
I'm about to say, what?
We didn't even say KD. No one brought up KD. It was just a DeMar versus Steph conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
But KD's in there. Who you got?
I got Steph, obviously.
All right, I'm back.
No question about it. Steph Curry.
Yeah, I got
They need to mail them the trophy right now.
JR mute. JR mute.
Don't be mad, Johnny.
Hold on.
Okay, you guys.
Did y'all say something to me?
Just told you to mute because we can hear your conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Hey, real talk though about that going back to that racing thing. I would encourage anybody who's listening to me, because I have this conversation a lot where people say, "Well, all you're doing is just driving a car." Go ahead, go to Vegas, go to Lime Rock out in Cali, and do a couple of laps in a car with your foot completely on the pedal, completely on the floor for a prolonged period of time, and see how that feels to you, bro. It's a different. It's undescribable. It's hard. Racing is hard. You're transitioning from a situation where you drive and a lot of cats, man. I got a Hellcat. I'll be doing 110 on the highway, man. Look, bro, there are turns that you are doing 110 sometimes, bro, and the G forces. The sense of speed or whatever, man. Like I said, it's a hard go, man. I've done track days before in cars that are a lot slower than what she was in, bro, and it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying to drive flat out for prolonged periods of time, and if you miss a turn or your brakes go out, your life is in danger, bro. It's a hard go. So for her, I know why she was getting a lot of heat, because she was in a situation where guys are kind of trying to get to that next level. They're trying to get the attention of the NASCAR guys or the F1 guys or something like that. And they call it seats. To have a seat is like, it's gold, man. And they probably looking at her like, bro, I'm up here going. It costs, I was just looking it up. And at the time when I had tried to start it, it was like a $50,000 to $60,000 a year commitment to go racing full time. So I'm pretty sure it's more expensive to go do it now. So for someone to be paying your way to do it, you taking up a seat because you cute. I know why all the other drivers had all the heat for her, because she was taking somebody's spot who probably had way more talent, but she had a little bit more ass, and that's some sad shit right there.
If anybody want a more entertaining kind of explanation of what it's like, there was a movie called Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, that's a good one.
There was a scene where this corporate guy basically wasn't trying to have this hillbilly looking driver to drive his car because he didn't meet the image. And for the mechanic or the crew chief to get him to understand why we need this guy to drive, is they put the corporate guy in the same car as the driver and let him drive. And this guy almost pooped his pants by the end of the driving situation, because he was going like 150, 200 miles, whipping around curves, going in and out of like he could, if he messed up once, either he's like the brake went out or he hit something, like that's their life. This guy literally couldn't breathe because it's a different type of energy when your body is swaying one way and it's going to one way, and a second could be your life. You know what I mean? And so it's different. You really wouldn't know unless you were in it. Same thing with any sport. I think a lot of people don't understand the sports that you're watching until you actually play it. I didn't really like soccer or football or baseball even until I played those sports. And you really wouldn't know unless you were in those situations. And it's not easy. None of this sports is easy.
Top golf, bro. Think about how many times the average person watches golf on TV. Like, man, these dudes, man, all they doing is hitting this little white ball. Take your ass to Top Golf and see if you can get a more than 100 points in Top Golf. Some people can't even hit the ball in the right direction. It's hard. I was a four-sport athlete in high school, and I was like, golf, I'm not playing that, bro. Top Golf will humble you in a heartbeat, bro. Man, I can't make the ball get off.
Go play some putt-putt.
Man.
you people can't even play putt-putt right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's the thing. People don't understand the amount of repetition that goes into this stuff. Like, even looking at a player like a Steph Curry, like who's shooting the ball that efficiently, they don't see the backlog work that get put in. The waking up at 3 a.m., putting up 1,000 jumpers, and then taking a nap, going to school, putting up 1,000 more jumpers, then 1,000 more before you go to sleep. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 jumpers a day to get that muscle memory that he's using. That's the thing. People tell you can't even see the rim. You don't need to. It's muscle memory. I've done it so much to where when the ball hit my hands, it's just a natural reaction. Like people don't see that, and they think that it's easy. It's just like golf. It's the same way. He 1,000% right. Because I was, I played baseball, so I'm thinking I was football, baseball, basketball. So I'm thinking, all right, I could hit a baseball coming 100 miles an hour. I should be able to tear the cover off a golf ball. First time I go out there, I'm missing it, shanking left, shanking right. Couldn't even get it straight. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to respect the time and the craft that people put into this stuff. There's a reason that they pros, bro. It's a reason.
Jimmy Butler, quite literally, he took a summer off where he rented a home and had no internet, no TV, no nothing. So the only thing he could do all day was work out. He would work out like 3 to 4 times a day because he would be like, he would go home, get bored. It's like, I guess we got to go work out. Like, that's all he did. He took a whole summer and his whole game elevated. You saw with the Bulls. Like, you need to actually put in the work and dedicate yourself to something to be good at anything. You know what I mean? That 1,000 hours saying. So
I say, and that's why I love hearing NBA players tell Kobe stories. Because it don't, and we know a lot of these NBA players, a lot of them work hard, but even they be like, yeah, man, I tried to beat him to the gym a couple of times. I tried to show up at 2:30 one time in the morning. He was already there in the full sweat. He was like, yeah, he said, I got this workout. I got 3 more for the day. Or they'll be like going to practice or something. He done worked out 3 a.m., go to practice. Everybody else going home or they getting ready to go to the club or whatever. They'll be like, Cole, where you about to go? I'm going back to the gym. You know what I'm saying? So, but then when we see him hit that game winner in Game 7 in the finals, we thinking, but damn, that's he just got it like that. No, it's a lot of hours that went into that, bro.
Like when he won the championship, and then 2 weeks after, he called up Hakeem Olajuwon, like, "Yo, show me this move."
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas the rest of the players, they was headed to barbecues. You know what I mean? Like in Magic City for the wings.
That's a real rap.
Going back, have anybody actually tried the racing thing before, man? Like gone for a ride along, anything like that? I'm telling you, man, it's one of them things where you will have a whole new perspective on just cars, period, let alone racing, man. Like if you go out to Vegas, there's a couple of experiences you can do. I would recommend doing the drift one. The drift one is fun because you got guys out there. They won't just be, well, you got to go on this turn and go on that turn. You have to be super disciplined, but they just going to go sideways with you. They just going to be more fun. But there's no replication for the feeling of going sideways in a car at 80 miles per hour, literally sideways, bro. And it just, the amount of talent and the amount of control you have to have over that car is otherworldly, man. It's next level, man. People think, oh, I'm a good driver. No, there's levels to it, bro. And these guys are just working in Vegas, entertaining people. The guys at the top, the Lewis Hamiltons of the world, the guys in NASCAR, man, the physical stuff you have to do. Like, I wonder with all the stuff she did with the OnlyFans, was she willing to commit to the body work of racing?
We're talking about F1 though.
F1, like, think how you getting ass implants? That's added weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's added weight, man. That tell you right there she wasn't committed to the cause. I just looked at the pictures or whatever online or whatever. I was like, yeah, she a little thick. Like, I'm pretty sure our engineers probably was telling like, look, you need to drop about 20, 30 pounds. You hurting your car weight or whatever. She probably did.
Well, hold on. So that weight actually affects the race?
Oh, absolutely, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, most of your top drivers in F1 freak out if they get up above 160 pounds, man. It's freak out time, dog. Because like, you cannot. The difference is our milliseconds. 3.000, not the difference between 2 and 5 seconds. The difference between 0.25 seconds and 0.24 seconds. So if the guy next to you weighs 151 pounds and you weigh 156, that's a problem. That's a problem, man.
I didn't know it was that damn serious like that, man. But somebody's about to say something?
Hey, I was about to ask, man, did anybody watch that boxing match that was on Fox?
Nah, which one?
Who was it?
It was Ortiz and Martin.
I saw the highlights, man. He slept that dude, man.
Hey,
he was hanging on the
man,
ropes,
look. He I don't know what he was thinking about, Well, man, he knocked it. He just stood there like he was just.
I did.
He was knocked out standing up. Man, that dude teed off on him about 3, 4 more times, and he got his own arm caught up in the rope.
He was knocked out standing up.
Man, standing up, knocked out JR. Man, it was bad.
Man,
then he got upset. You know, he got mad, and then they tried to let him go one more time. Then he got knocked out again. Referee called. He was ready to fight the ref because the referee called it. I mean, pretty much saved him. Then he went over to the man's corner and he said that was bullshit. Ortiz pushed him back up off of him.
Yeah, so that might have been a decent match. How many rounds it went?
It probably went about 6 rounds.
That's decent. You get your money.
About 6 rounds. Yeah. It was about 6 rounds.
I saw the
video. You said what?
I just saw the video.
Hey, bro, he hit him with a left hook, and all of a sudden he went from boxing to see if he could get a drink at the bar. He was literally in a whole nother.
Yeah.
he was trying to order a drink.
Hey, man, the commentator said, man, I think he's out of state. He said, I think he's out of state. He's not even in the same state no more. The fight was in St. Louis.
Man, I don't want to watch this, you know.
Hey, man, check it out,
clip right now. That's crazy.
Check it out.
Check the clip out, bro. That's crazy.
He pulled that Martin when Martin was leaning all on the ropes.
On the rope. Wow.
Oh man, y'all got me. Let's see. Oh man.
Yeah, I gotta start paying attention to boxing more if it's giving us moments like this. Like, you know what turned me off to boxing was the Mayweather era, man. Like, I just didn't want to watch this dude pitter-patter on people for 10, 12 rounds. But a lot lately, I've been seeing some of these knockouts been off the chain.
I feel like I don't know what's going to happen to boxing in the next 5 years. It's been I feel like the most popular matches have all been celebrity boxing matches, and athletes, you know, like those fights seem to be more exciting and more haymakers thrown than some of these professional boxers that have been, or at least American boxing. I know that boxing in other countries, you know, like Russia and Mexico and just the Latin community in general, I know that boxing is still probably, you know, number one outside of soccer. But in America, I feel like I don't really know where boxing is going to go. We're going to keep seeing more celebrities or other athletes trying to cross over into boxing and make it an event versus it being like a sport that more and more people are going to go into compared to MMA. It seems like because MMA is more blood sport, that more people are going to go towards that because it's just the likelihood of a knockout or just blood or somebody getting their arm broke off is just so much more likely than a boxing match where it's just the art of not getting hit. So I feel like, you know, I don't even know who some of the young boxers are like that who are really popular, who fight each other. Seems like every popular boxer is always fighting some dude no one's ever heard of, and then they win, and it doesn't have any real impact on the sport as a whole. So, you know, it's almost like Jake Paul it literally might be carrying, in terms of entertainment value, might be carrying the boxing name compared to MMA, where we can get excited for a lot of different fights. So I'm, you know, sometimes I'll be like, man, I'm surprised boxing matches are still popular like that in America compared to other sports, you know, on the same night.
See, that's the issue, is that the characters are missing from the sport. Like, you got a lot of people that's boxing that's just great technicians or great boxers, whatever the case may be, but they have zero personality. Like when Mayweather was there, like hate him or love him, he was going to sell that fight. He was going to have everybody watching it, whether you wanted to see him win or whether you wanted to see him lose. But again, characters are missing. Even the Alis, the you know, the Mike Tysons, the people like that was just characters. It's like, it's damn near like WWE-ish. Like I want to see how this story plays out. But now nobody is able to grip the general public like that except for Jake Paul. And a lot of the antics that people get on him about, criticizing him about, you can criticize him all you want to, but when he fight, everybody watching it. You know what I'm saying? So I think boxers need to learn a bit more on that entertainment side, and that's what's going to get the sport back where it needs to be. But in MMA, I think you have more of that, plus the gore that you're talking about, what people want to see. But as long as it ain't no characters in boxing, or it's not, you know, enough characters in boxing, it's going to be where it is. It's going to be, you know, and like purists to tell you, like right now, it's one of the greatest times in, you know, in boxing. Purists will. But for the casual general fan, they get like, man, I don't know who these people is. I don't know who boxing who. Because ain't nobody I got a big enough character to really grab nobody no more.
And the big names, they don't want to fight each other. Everybody's going for that Floyd Mayweather type record. Everybody want to be 50, 60 and 0. And they want to go his route, which is pick your fighters, pick the time you want to fight them. If somebody's too hot, don't go after that guy, go after somebody else. Because again, you know, I think we talked about in a couple of episodes previously, the big names, they don't fight each other the way the MMA big names do. So even giving the casual fan like something to look forward to, there's usually nothing. And then you hear about a match and it was like, oh, it was good, but it didn't really matter. Like it didn't make any impact on how the public views the sport. So I always just wonder, you know, is boxing even going to be a thing like that in 10 years compared to, you know, MMA and some of these other sports? You know, even soccer, I feel like is making some headway in a way that boxing isn't. So
they need to they definitely need to start making the fights happen when we want them to happen. I think that's the first because we get so sick of seeing fighters fight 5 years after they were supposed to fight, man. You know what I mean? It's terrible. There's a heavyweight, I forget his name, man. I watched this fight like around it's a little after Thanksgiving. He's a heavyweight. I think he out of Detroit. He's like 17-0. I think they need to put some serious money behind him, yo. I can't think of his name. Somebody in the chat might know his name, but he got hands. He a big dude, but he got them hands, man. So I think keep an eye out for him, man. I'm trying to remember his name. I'm gonna look up his name.
One thing I hate about the Floyd too is that a lot of people like know Money Mayweather. They don't know Pretty Boy Floyd. Those are two different fighters completely. When after Floyd messed his hands up, that's when we seen the pitter patter stuff. But Pretty Boy was fighting anybody who wanted to fight, knocking people out, putting on shows as far as defense and whatever the case may be. But it wasn't until he messed his hands up to where he started making business decisions. Essentially, is what I call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we ain't going for the knockout, except for that one fight against
Maidana?
No, not Maidana. Damn, I can't remember his name, but he was a heavy puncher.
Miguel Cotto?
Miguel Cotto. Yeah, when everybody was like, "Oh, you scared to stand in the paint," and he said, "You know what? For this fight, I'm gonna show y'all what it is." And he stood in that square, stood in that paint, sat in that chair, and put hands on them the way that Pretty Boy used to do people. You know what I'm saying? Just to show y'all that I'm capable of it, but my body is not gonna hold up if I keep fighting that way. You know what I'm saying? But I just hate that a lot of people that watch boxing today didn't get to see Pretty Boy. They know Money Mayweather. Those are two different people.
Right. What was the other boxer he fought? The boxer passed away, man. The Spanish dude, Arturo Gatti.
Yeah.
Yo, he gave Gotti that business, man. I felt so bad for Gotti. I mean, I think he knocked him down.
He punished Hatton too.
Yes.
That was somebody else he punished.
Yeah, Ricky Hatton. And you know what I'm saying? They yelling, hey, Ricky Hatton. Like, fam, he is getting punished out.
Punished. That's real, though.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with
right now. That's all they talk about right now is Ricky Hatton. They loving Ricky Hatton right now.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with participation too, that is tied into interest. I mean, I think there's 3 MMA gyms within 3 miles of me, man. I don't know where no boxing club is at. You know what I mean? Like, I think every other dude I know is taking jujitsu or something. Like, it just seems like that's just what's in right now.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those places, they have like a boxing class, but it's a MMA gym or a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym. You know, they may do boxing 1 day a week, and that's probably just to, you know, help compensate for the striking in what they're trying to do for MMA. So that's a good point that, you know, where I live, I don't think there's any boxing gyms at all. Everything is, you know, mixed martial arts or regular martial arts, and then they have heavy bags for punching, but you know, there's not, you'd be hard pressed to find a boxing gym, you know, anywhere north in the Chicago area, I would say at least.
Yeah, it's getting interesting out here, man. I look forward to seeing what's going to be happening in all these sports, man. A lot of changes, a lot of things seem to need some more excitement brought back to it. People are shifting. We got YouTubers becoming stars instantly in these sports. It's it's a lot going on, man. A lot to take in, man. But what are we gonna do, man? I guess we got to adjust too, right?
I think another thing boxing can do is schedule more fights, especially the good ones who don't really get hurt. Especially if they're fighting back people. I think they need to stop taking these 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months hiatus. Like if you're not hurt, try to schedule a fight within weeks times. You know what I mean? Like just get more reps in, keep fighting, get your name out there, keep knocking people out. You know what I mean? Like I think they can't do it the UFC route where they can actually like slash a dude's face and elbow him everywhere, and it's like it's a little bit different. You can break a leg easier. Like I feel like you might get a little bit more hurt on both ends. It's a little bit even, but in boxing, I do feel like there are a lot of stars who don't get hit or they don't get hurt as the receiving end. You know what I mean? So those guys need to start getting more reps in, and so you can get their name out there. So the boxing community, instead of being, I feel like someone said in the chat, Sugar Ray. I think he had like almost 200. Almost 200 matches, and he knocked out. He won 164 and 19.
Yeah,
so
and
like
that was just pro.
That's what I'm
his
saying.
amateur was even more.
We need more reps. Floyd is only at 50 in the pro level, and so I think even now we just need to get up there, especially if you're one of those guys.
Yeah, I think you got to point that, man, because they are spraying it out. It's not happening. It's like people just being selective on who they boxing. They want to like, it's kind of like they saving themselves. They reserving themselves for the money matches. For it to make sense. They're not just fighting. They don't have a love for it. It's all strategically when it comes to the brand, instead of just getting out there, just having fun for the love of the sport. So that's a good point, man. I think you guys have been awesome today, man. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Crew season. I appreciate you brothers, man, for coming in, blessing the platform. I don't think that people was expecting it, but anytime you guys show up, it's always a blessing.
Love, bro.
Yeah, to my normal crew, that's always on, man. Thank you guys. You guys were awesome. We had a lot of different perspectives. We was able to celebrate the Bulls and DeMar DeRozan together. I mean, that's something that's just unheard of on a platform. So, shout out to you guys for acknowledging like what's real out here, and you guys seeing red. I see old got his red on. He represents. I see you, Avon. I see you.
I need to go to a game. I need to try to get some tickets and go to a game. That's my next move.
And look,
the price of the brick just went up, Cal. You going?
Yeah, I was just gonna say you better get it now.
That's what kept me from going to. I want to say it was a Nets game, maybe a month ago or so, where they were advertising. And I looked it up and was like, no, I'm gonna have to catch that one on TV. So,
hey, I know we're talking about the Bulls, and I know it's a big thing, but somebody said, "Hey, JR, why no mentions of F1 and Sir Lewis Hamilton?"
Yeah, I did that. I just my bad, man. That's my lane.
I said F1, but I didn't mention Hamilton. But I said
somebody
F1.
did say Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
You did, I think, bro.
Yeah.
But I think we talked about him when they just had a race. I want to say a couple weeks ago, and he got robbed.
Yeah, he got robbed. He got straight up robbed. But now that I think about that, about our topic with old girl, like that's another reason I want to hear her whining about it, bro. That boy, his pops worked three jobs his entire childhood to get him to where he became an F1 driver, man. Like she had all the advantages you could possibly want. Like what you want? What more do you want? They paid for your ride, and you went on 48 rides, and you couldn't finish higher than 18. What you want to do? You weren't good at it.
Yeah. Real quick before we get up out of here, I know we haven't seen him be talking about football lately. Probably me, man. I blame me because the Chicago Bears ain't doing shit. So I just been kind of like unmotivated, like what the hell is going on. But anybody want to share it in real quick? Anything about the NFL that they see that they want to?
I do, man. I got some extremely important aspect and that I want to share and make sure that everybody's aware of.
Please make them aware.
Just a simple statement. I'm not gonna really
hope it
say
ain't nothing about Dallas.
How about them Cowboys? That's all I want to say. That's all.
Really? Come on, man.
You know what time it is.
God damn.
Nope.
We couldn't get through a whole show without hearing that bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what time it is.
They just tainted it, man. They just tainted it.
I will bet $20,000 that the Cowboys don't make it out the second round.
Well, first off, the second round may be the first round we play if we're gonna keep it G.
Then you ain't making out that one either.
So that means
my point stands. They won't make it out the second, regardless if they got to buy or not.
Arizona.
We about to win out, but all we need is for Minnesota to take care of Green Bay. Minnesota take care of Green Bay, we good to go. We went out, they went out, we get to 1 seed. Simple.
Well, is that it? Is that Kirk Cousins? That's who you relying on today?
Go purple. Go Kirk.
Kirk Cousins ain't playing today. He got Green Bay gonna get another easy win today. So don't rely on that guy.
Look here, man.
Hey, I tell you this: the Birds gonna mess around to get us another win. We're gonna get 2 wins in a row. Now, I mean, every quarterback we have gonna get a win. Foles got him a win. Andy Dalton might get him a win today. You know, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Birds. I mean, they trying to save Nagy's job or what?
He done. He done, man.
His ass about it. Tim Harbaugh's available. He's available right now. He lost to Georgia. He's available. Right. Let's go make some conversations.
They gonna pay him more, and you don't have to go recruit 17-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the problem would be, man. You're not gonna beat Alabama. You're not gonna beat Georgia. You might as well come back to the pros, man.
Hey, man. I don't know if any of y'all are into college football, man, but them games the other day, man.
Disgusting.
Man.
Disgusting.
I mean,
the top echelon of the SEC just shows who they are. I mean, that's just hands down. You know, I know we was talking about levels of competing with guys about recruiting. Dude, I'm gonna tell you again, these guys will put $1 billion up to out recruit you, to outplay you, to beat you, because they love that game. Most of them teams they don't have a professional team in their city. Some that don't even have it in their state, let alone in their city. And man, that's all they know. They surround themselves about college football. Towns, cities, states shut down for the game. That's just the love they have. And it shows, man, the loyalty, watching them games. Man, that Georgia-Michigan game, man, Georgia looked like the monster that they should have been looked like. That's going to be a hell of a championship game in a couple weeks.
Who y'all got?
I'm going with Alabama. I ain't crazy.
I'm going Alabama
against Tide.
It's hard to bet against Nick Saban.
Alabama's so deep; their depth is crazy. Like if they get injured, you know what I mean. They got the best offensive line probably for the next 3 years on their team right now. You know what I mean? They probably got freshmen not even putting on pads that could get in there if they need to. So,
man, and Young is a sophomore quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm down here in South Carolina, yo. Like they rejected the Carolina Panthers, man, just not to get in the way of USC. You know what I mean? They straight rejected a professional football team, bro, and a professional baseball team, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, just because they ain't want that to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's next level down there, man. Like
it's different, man.
High school stadiums seating 30,000 people, man. That's just crazy, man. High school.
You know, we in Texas. In Texas, they filled up AT&T Stadium for all the playoffs. They fill it up.
I mean, they travel, man. They travel like crazy, man. I mean, I went to they had it in Indianapolis. Man, everywhere now. That's all you kept hearing. Roll Tide. Ah, damn, Roll Tide. That's all you hear. I said, football season over. What y'all talking about? Roll Tide. I said, whatever. I said, if that is what it is, Roll Tide.
Here's my only thing about college football, more specifically, they fans that just make me crazy, is the idea that, and I go through this a lot up here with Notre Dame, man. These crazy ass Notre Dame fans up here. Like, I got a couple of people that they really hardcore Notre Dame people. I'm like, fam, you couldn't even get into Notre Dame. Why do you care so much, bro? Like, I don't understand. Like, and then, you know, the it's the level of protection and investment that they have, and it is just weird to me. Like, well, some 17-year-old kid from the north suburbs of Chicago turned down Notre Dame to go to Michigan. They trolling him on Instagram and sending crazy letters to his house. I'm like, that's a 17-year-old kid, man. What the hell is wrong with y'all, man? It's like the psychotic level of the college football fan is a turn off for me, man. That's why I have a hard time getting into it. Like the crazy ass things. Like was it that the lady down in Alabama burnt up the trees or tore up the trees at Auburn or some crazy stuff like that?
Yeah,
like what?
I do poison the tree.
Yeah, like what the hell? I'm not about to go up to Green Bay and mess with some damn trees. What's wrong with you?
He poisoned the tree. Hey man, look, it goes further than that, man. Man, they had down here. Louisville, Kentucky's a big rivalry. Man, they had two dudes that was in dialysis fighting. Y'all trying to fight cancer, but y'all fighting each other in dialysis. Come on, guys. What we doing here? Over football.
Well, what college football needs to do, they need to expand their playoff. Because some of these bowl games, they got guys sitting out because they're going to be, declaring for the draft. So there's really no incentive. Some of your better guys, some of the reason why the game might not be as good is because some of their best players decide not to play because they don't want to get injured preparing for the draft. So
nor should they, bro. What's that boy from Michigan, the tight end? He lost millions. He's supposed to be a first round pick. That man couldn't even step on the field after that, man.
But Cal, why would you expand the playoff and you ain't gonna do nothing but put about 2 to 4 more SEC teams in there, and they already felt some type of way about having 2 in there in the championship now. Dude, it's not going to be as open as they think it's going to be. You're gonna have 2 more SEC teams in there. So what? Then what? Florida gonna get back. They gonna be back in there. You know what I'm saying? You have LSU gonna get back. They gonna be back in there. That's 2 more SEC teams. They don't want to see that. They trying to expand so they can get other teams in there. They want to try to zone out these SEC teams, but there's nothing you can do about it. They that good. You got to accept them.
College football, college sports is like the only section of sports where you can buy success. I feel like, you know what I mean, and that's going to hurt them in the long run. All the leagues that are wildly successful have parity. You know what I mean? NFL, king of sports in America, parity. Everybody who's a fan of that team believes week 1 that we might have a shot, except if you're Jacksonville or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you got 2 or 3 teams that they know gonna be trash, everybody has a shot, bro. Nobody has a shot outside of what, maybe 6-7 programs out of all those Division I programs, 6 teams, 5 teams on a good year. Like, I don't know what you expect. Like, they want to expand the playoffs to get teams like BYU in. Well, we see how that went this weekend. You know what I mean?
Smack about 40.
I mean, it's not even the same type of athlete. Like, I was looking at Alabama's offensive line lined up against Cincinnati defensive line. That looked like JV and varsity out there, bro.
And some of them dudes some of the Alabama dudes, they're like the second stringer because our original starters was out. So those are like the second string guys that was in there for Alabama.
They're going to wear you down. That's why Bama always does good in the second half, because they're going to wear you down. They're going to be able to rotate players, and all you really got is your starters. You know what I'm saying? And you get tired, your starters getting tired. Bama putting in second string, third string, and they got fresh legs, and they going to beat you down even more.
Blue chip second team players coming in.
It's crazy.
Here's the thing. Well, you can't even fix that. You can't do a draft for college football. You know what I mean? You can't force a kid to go to Oklahoma State when he live in, you know what I'm saying, Northern California or whatever. There's no way to really fix it, man.
And there's no parity in college football. None at all.
No, I mean,
you know the best of the best, and most of them best teams are in the South. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, USC trying to make a little push.
Which
I don't know how anybody loses at USC, Kyle. Like, real talk. I don't know.
I mean, they went and got OU's coach. You figure that means
it's 2 schools. Two schools that it's like for me that if you're not having 9 wins every year, you're incompetent. It's Miami and USC. How you cannot recruit kids to Southern California and South Beach and not be a contender every year. That's malpractice at that point, bro. Like
I used to think I feel that way about Texas. I feel like, man, Texas University, they should be hometown guys should be going to Texas every time. I don't know what's going on with that.
You got to think some of them states, man, that everybody didn't realize how many good athletes that come through. The surrounding states and other states are just coming there and taking what they need. I mean, you got, like you said, Alabama had about 4 or 5 Miami players on it. But you passing up about 3 or 4 top-notch universities before you even get to Alabama.
Well, but that's my thing. I don't care if you bring in Nick Saban or Jesus Christ through the front door of my child's living room. At least, or not my child, but for me, if my choice was to spend the next 3 years in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or South Beach, like I know where I'm going. I'm not going to Alabama, fam. Or if my choices are Oklahoma or LA, like I don't know. How are you not able to?
You gotta understand when you to start a campus, it ain't no real difference. You pop in wherever you go. You really looking at the community of the environment of, maybe the women or maybe what they can do for you. But like, you really ain't too concerned about the fact that it's Miami. You know what I mean? You can't go to the clubs like that. You probably ain't got to be hanging out with the strippers or whatever and the rappers and celebrities or whoever. You like, what are these college chicks like? And what is these coaches like? And what can they, we're not concerned about that. You know what I'm saying? As a young cat, I'm still young and I speak to them today and they're not concerned about, more so the outside of the campus environment, more so in campus.
Hey, look, I'm gonna look to do my time for 3 or 4 years because I'm gonna have all that opportunity when I get to the league. So let me do my time. I'm gonna come on there, little old Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'm gonna get that ring, and I'm gonna be out. Guaranteed, I'm gonna get an NFL contract.
A few rings.
Hey, put me somewhere where I can shine. I want to play.
I want that ring too, though. I don't want to be shining and losing. I can't accept losing.
That's true.
Hey, y'all.
Losing for losers.
Man, again, gentlemen, man, it's been a great show, man. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. And for the people that's out there, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also subscribe to the channel on the way out. Thanks for the support, man. Thanks for the conversation. Make sure y'all enjoy y'all Sunday. Watch out some football. Watch out some basketball. And stay safe out there, man. Stay safe. And brush your teeth. Brush your teeth.
Burn down, baby.
Brush your teeth and floss, man. Floss in between the teeth. Tej Hanley, shout out to the sponsor. Make sure you guys get that uncomplicated skincare for men. Go ahead and copy, man. Get your gift. Let's go, man. All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all.
All right, man. See y'all next week.
All right.
Take it easy.
Be safe now.
Make sure y'all go on the website, man, and cop y'all a hoodie, man. I just restocked a little bit more, a few more colors in, a few more sizes. So make sure you guys go on www.lapeef.com and get you a hoodie. There's some other merch on there too, man. Make sure you guys go on there. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for all the constant support. Focus. There we go. Thank you, guys. Make sure y'all enjoy y'all Sunday. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. I love these shows. Samira should be streaming tonight, so make sure you guys be sure to subscribe to the channel. Set the notifications to all so you can stay up to date and speed on what's going on in the network. I don't want you guys to miss a live. Tomorrow we got Kay and Kayla's show. Tuesday we got King Talk. Wednesday we got the JB Broken Dusty show. Thursday we got Lapeef Let's Talk. And right back to Sunday. With Lapeef Sports. Got some old great news to announce. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Often check that community page, man. A lot going on. It's a lot going on. All right, y'all. I'm out.